Hey guys, Scott here. The response to the patch notes for 9.2.0 have been apocalyptic to say the least. And before I go any further, I just want to make it clear the majority of this video is not 3 hours long. I just tacked on a 3-hour VOD of me discussing with my chat all of the patch notes in explicit detail for a very long time. They wanted me to add it to go over it later, so I just threw that in at the end. But the actual summary and discussion is going to be probably like 10-15 minutes at the start right here. So I want to go over a couple of things. One, this patch is potentially disastrous. If they make no changes and push this to live as it is, I will have a problem with it. I think there will be a lot of issues with it. However, I don't think they're going to push it exactly here. Like, we have people right now doomsaying and quitting the game and saying DBD is dead over a pre-patch note to a pre-patch on the PTB to an actual patch on the live servers. There are 3 iterations of changes that are going to happen between now and a month from now when this actually releases. So you guys need to just chill for a little bit. Don't get me wrong, if in 3 weeks they release the patch notes for live and it's this exact same page with no changes, then I will join you with the pitchforks and go, holy fuck, this is not good. But I don't think that's going to happen. I truly don't. They have very often proposed changes that were unanimously hated, and then they just said, okay, sorry, and then they just took them away. There have been times when they've, dug their heels in too, so I'm not saying it's impossible that they push this directly to live. I'm just saying, freak out when it actually happens. Don't just sit there having a panic attack about things that are not going to happen for a month, if they even happen. So it's just a mental health suggestion. If you want to be a doomer about it, that's fine. It's funny, I'm pretty critical about this game lately, and I'm telling people to maybe just calm down a little bit, because this has not actually happened yet. But let's go over the changes I think that they actually need to do in order to make this not a disaster, because this patch is actually way closer to one of the best patches they've ever made than a lot of people are appreciating. People are just seeing 1 or 2 lines that are without a doubt a problem, and focusing on that and ignoring how good the overall stepping stone this can be to making the game better. Here's the thing. Dead by Daylight has huge systemic problems, and all they do is put band-aids on it, and a band-aid on it, and a band-aid on that. Oh, tunneling's a problem, here's a Cypher Strike. This is a problem, here's a perk, here's a perk, here's a perk, band-aid, 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 band-aid. They've been doing that for 8 years, just slapping band-aids on top of problems. And here is the first attempt at them actually trying corrective surgery. This is them going for it, they're risking it, the patient could die. But also, it could finally permanently cure them, which is why I am so excited about this. This is a crazy thing. In my opinion, the worst case scenario is they try it, it doesn't work, and they revert it. But this actually could really start addressing huge issues with the game that are not just band-aids. We're now looking at systemic fixes to huge problems, and I really want people to try to open their minds a bit and think long-term, this could be the first step in a long line of really good steps to making the game a lot better for people. All that being said, there are 2 major lines that I think are really hampering how successful this patch can be, and I want to go over them. So I'm going to go over all the things that people dislike that I will explain how I don't think are a problem at all, but let me go over the things that I agree are an issue. Issue number 1, the ability for survivors to recover while crawling. Recovering now occurs passively with no need to hold a button. Recovery passively with no need to hold a button is fine, but the major issue here is recovering while crawling. That should not be a base kit feature. One of the most important things that happens when you're slugged as a survivor is the conscious decision of, do I crawl somewhere safer or do I recover immediately? If I'm downed at a hook because I messed up a save or something like that, do I recover under the hook or do I crawl away? Making these conscious decisions is an actual important part of the skill cap of Survivor. You need to know which of the 2 options you're going to take. If you're just given both for free, it eliminates a massive part of a skill ceiling in decision making, and also just eliminates all risk for a lot of scenarios. Just blanket statement, this should not be the case. The next major problem is the tunneling reduction update, and it's 1 line. 1 line of it is something that I think is very bad, and it's this line right here. If the survivor that was last hooked is sacrificed or killed, generators cannot be regressed or blocked. That, I think, is problematic for a number of reasons. So, the main reason this would be bad is this particular scenario. You've got, like, 1 generator left. The killer has a 3 gen. You have someone that's on death hook anyway, And so they basically suicide themselves in order to prevent all of the killer's regression perks in that 3-gen. In that scenario, the loss of a player, because the game is almost over, is not that impactful, but the killer not being able to hold the 3-gen anymore because his regression doesn't work anymore, that is a problem. The point is, at the end of the game, the killer should not be penalized for trying to tunnel somebody out at that point. The whole thing we're trying to stop with all of these changes is completely unnecessary overkill sweat. You have people going for 73 million wins in a row on Nurse or Blight, and they're getting their first kill at 4 or 5 gens. Those are the scenarios where things like this and handicaps like this should actually take effect. If you got 1 gen left and you hook the same person twice and now you're penalized for that, that's stupid. At that point, even I, who try to play super nice, I gotta kill someone. Like, the game's getting to the end here. Someone's gotta die. So the fact that the game is going to punish you for having a scenario like that is very stupid. This line needs to have an additional caveat. And the thing is, this can be fixed so easily. Just make it say that these disincentives do not work when there's like 1 or 2 gens left. If you add that line, that fixes almost every issue with this, because now it's really only going to address people that are tunneling someone out at 4 or 5 gens or something like that. It's not really abusable. You could say, well, survivors are going to 99 their gens and try to game the system and stuff. It's like, that's a huge risk. What if the killer does get that regression event? Now the gen that would have been finished and can never be touched again is now regressing again. 99ing gens is a very risky thing to do, so it's a risk-reward thing, and that's completely fine in my opinion. But I don't really see a world where that is very abusable. People are not going to join lobbies and just die intentionally to block regression perks at the start because they don't want to just sit there and do nothing all game being dead and watching their friends play. At the same time, that's not even beneficial for you. If the killer gets his first kill at, even 3, 4, 5 gens up, if that is the case, you can even make it off of total gen progression if you want. If you want to be really safe with it, you can be total progression, not just gens completed, whatever. That's fine. But there are plenty of caveats you can do to prevent abuse of this system. Again, the system should try to prevent people from playing in an overly sweaty, miserable way where they're so clearly winning it's not even funny, but it shouldn't punish killers that are just genuinely, honestly trying to kill people as the game is nearing its end. If we do that, I think that fixes almost every issue with like all of this stuff. Everything else here is really cool, like the unhook, the incentives for the first time hook and stuff like that. All that stuff is really, really good stuff, and I would love to see this added, and I think it's great. The last hook UI indicator is great. Really, all this stuff is awesome. It's just this little section right here not having a caveat saying it doesn't work as the game is nearing its end, because that becomes far too abusable. And then you might have people intentionally dying to prevent the killer from using their regression. At which point, yes, that is stupid, and that's a scenario we need to ensure never actually happens. So that, I think, would fix really the majority of the problems with the patch. Now, I didn't address a couple of things that I know a lot of people have problems with, so I'm going to spend this section of the video going over how a lot of these scenarios that people are freaking out about are just not really big deals. In my opinion, again, this is all my opinion. I'm not trying to present any of this as fact. It's just over the past 8 years of me playing this game, this is just what I've noticed. There's no inherent bias here. I am biased to whatever side is suffering the most in any given patch. For example, if this patch goes live, I will be very killer biased again. If this doesn't go live, then I'll be closer in the middle, because this has been mostly kind of fine. My killer queue times have been miserable, so I'm constantly saying it can't be that bad because everyone's playing killer right now. But for the most part, let me go over the things that people have problems with, and I also want to go over how people are just inventing these fantastical scenarios where they're trying to abuse the system. There are people unironically saying that they're going to bring plot twist and they're going to kill themselves for 90 seconds at the start of the match to give themselves unbreakable for the rest of the match. I feel like these people don't understand time efficiency in DBD. If you do that, if everyone does that, you just lose the game. You're basically throwing an entire generator's worth of progress away in the hopes that you're slugged for over 30 seconds so you can actually recover and pick yourself back up. It's the dumbest thing. People are just there's going to be 4-man bully squads where Jeff kills himself at the start so the killer can't use his regression and we do gens faster. Okay, it's a 3v1 from 4 or 5 gens. I don't give a shit about regression then. I'm just going to fucking win anyway because that's the best possible scenario. I did an experiment recently where I used no regression perks and full regression perks, and I did better with the no regression perks, because downing people is the best slowdown that you can have. If people are doing it themselves, holy fuck, I don't need any perks. You're just giving me a 3v1. That's the best scenario for a killer. Again, with the caveat that it's not happening right at the end of the game, which I said does need to be fixed. But these people are just inventing these scenarios. Like, you guys think a Survive with Friends is just going to have a fourth friend that just tags along to die and watch the match over and over again? No one's going to fucking do this. Like, this people are just freaking out, making these ridiculous scenarios that are never going to happen. But let's go over this line here. If a survivor's left in a dying state for a total of 90 seconds, they gain the ability to pick themselves up. And people said, oh yeah, but you didn't read it properly. It's actually 90 seconds total. But I knew that. My point is, I don't care. That's not really relevant to me. I cannot remember the last game I had in which someone was slugged on the ground for 90 seconds. And even if they were slugged for 90 seconds or whatever, and then I found them and picked them up, even with that, and then their Unbreakable was active, the next time I down them, I can still slug them for another 30 seconds before they can even pick themselves back up. I think people think that they're getting like base kit exponential where you can just get back up in 5 seconds. No, you still got to do the slow-ass 30-second recovery bar, and then you can pick yourself up. Basically, in that scenario, that's 2 minutes of you being slugged, which I think is... that is plenty of time. If I want to be super lenient and coddle people like that, I'd say maybe change this to 120 seconds. Let's go with that to account for more killers that are slugger heavy, like, Twins or Oni or whoever. Fine. Let's make it 120 seconds and call it a day. I don't see a world in which that's abusable. People are like actually trying to say that being left on the ground for this time is more beneficial. It's just math-wise, it's just not. Like, if someone is on the ground and their team goes, okay, we don't have to pick him up because he can be on the ground for 90 seconds. You know what's better than that? Picking him up and letting him go to a generator in 30 seconds and then doing 60 seconds of a generator instead of you guys doing 90 seconds of the ones you're working on. That's an additional person. I feel like people are just not getting how math works. It would never be a better scenario, again, like I said, unless it's the very end of the game in which these things should not work anymore. But there's no scenario where that would be beneficial. You would always benefit from picking that guy up and having him separate and doing a separate gen. It's always better. So people are not understanding like how the math and time efficiency works at all. This, in my opinion, is nothing. This only affects people that are slugging as a primary win condition, in my opinion. At which point, I don't fucking care if you're getting a little bit of a hardship here, because that is a miserable, totally unnecessary way to play the game. There are plenty of other sweaty things you can do. Proxy camping stonks are rising super high. I think there are plenty of things you can do. You don't have to slug everyone to death every game. That's really the only time this is going to affect you. There's also this line, too. People are saying, if I slug for, 20, 30 seconds, people are going to be long gone. Not realizing that they're moving at the same speed most of that 30 seconds. Right towards the end, they're going to start going faster. And then as they approach like the 90 seconds, they're going to approach tenacity speed, at which point, yeah, now they're kind of cruising around. But for the most part, they're going to have normal movement speed for the most of the time that they're being slugged. I don't know if people are just slugging at the wrong times or something, but it's very rare that I slug somebody and then leave them on the ground for even more than like 30 seconds. If there's someone lurking for a flashlight or they die under a pallet and I see a teammate away, usually what you do is just chase them far enough away to where you can just pick the guy up. If it's a flashlight, you pick him, you just chase him away for 3 seconds, walk back, and then pick him up and just turn around and pick him up. Even if they have background player, they can't get to you, past you, in position for a save, and then also do it. Now, if there's someone else hidden you didn't see, that's fine. You kind of got rolled there. That's a good play from the survivors. But if you're aware of where the person is, you can even just chase them away and then vacuum them onto the side of the pallet where they can't get through to drop the pallet anymore. Like, there are so many options you have to not have to slug people, or you can just say fuck it and actually slug them for an entire chase, 50, 60 seconds. They still can't get up during this time, at which point another teammate probably would have picked him up and the Unbreakable is still not relevant. Even if you do that twice, it's still not relevant. A teammate is probably still going to pick that person up. Like, these are such fantastic scenarios that people are dooming over that are not going to matter unless you're a killer that's primarily slugging as a win condition, which I think should be fixed because that's a miserable issue. So this whole section is just nothing in my opinion. Again, this I agree is stupid. This does need to absolutely change. Everything else is, in my opinion, inconsequential. I know personally it's not going to affect me at all. This is nothing to me. Again, I know it will affect some people. I'm not the center of the universe. I truly get that. I'm just trying to say it's really, in my opinion, not as bad as people are saying. Really, the only other problem I have is this line right here. when a survivor's hooked, their hook status is hidden from the killer. I heard from Hens that it's 10 seconds before you actually get told. I think that should be shortened. I think the information from someone getting unhooked is vital to playing killer, and even if you're not trying to tunnel, you still need to know when that's happening. So I think they should shorten that massively to like 4 or 5 seconds. It'll give survivors a little bit of time to spread out and maybe hide, just a little bit of it. That way it'll also de-incentivize proxy camping as well. But that information is very important, and taking that away, I think, is unfair. So I think that should be significantly made more in favor of the killer. But other than that, everything else here is really a necessary step in the game's health. And like I said, it's scary to a lot of people. No one wants to go for surgery. Getting a Band-Aid and going about your day is a lot safer. It's a lot, there's a lot less to worry about. And like I said, if they don't change anything, there's a lot of stuff that can really go wrong here. But if they actually do this properly, this is the first step onto the thing people have been saying forever. They don't want it to be a game based on just tunneling someone out and getting that kill and stuff like that. It'll be a stepping stone to making hooks relevant in the game again. Like, this is a good thing that people need to not be blinded by fear for, in my opinion. Again, it's funny I'm saying that because lately I've been pretty negative about behavior, but it's just something we gotta give them a chance. Let them cook. In a month, if it's the same, I'll be right there with you, and then I'll make a rant video and we can high five. It'll be great. But until then, just accept that this is actually possibly a very good thing. There's also a point I do want to discuss. When critiquing changes like this, people will very, very commonly say things like, why is the killer punished for doing their objective, but survivors are not? So I want to go over that discussion because I will tag it on to the end of this video here because it is very relevant to this scenario. So the problem with that argument is you're comparing asymmetric things. The killer is trying to kill people. Survivors are trying to do generators. You can't say Y is X doing something when Y doesn't get this too. Again, you're comparing just different things. Like that's like you would have to say, why can't the survivor kill the killer? When you compare asymmetric things, the argument becomes much more muddied and really hard to kind of quantify because, like I said, they have separate goals. So you can't really make direct one-to-one comparisons here. But let me reiterate further on that. So the whole thing is, why are killers punished for doing their objective, but survivors are not? The thing is, a killer's objective is not to tunnel somebody out as quickly as possible. Their end objective is to kill everybody. There's no caveat or asterisk that says you have to tunnel the first guy out. And so there's a little bit of design space there to try to make other things a bit more viable by de-incentivizing one and making, spreading hooks a much more viable thing to do. There's some design space there, right? With survivors, there's no design space. All they can do is do generators. That's the only thing that they can do to reach their objective of escaping through the exit gates. That's their win condition. The only thing they can do is gens. With killer, the only way that they can kill everybody is not tunneling the first guy out at 4 gens. That's not the only option they have. So I'm trying to show how these are not one-to-one comparisons here. So when you make that argument, it kind of doesn't work. You could try to say okay, if gens are getting done too fast, you can slow them down, kind of like how 2v8 works. But again, that's a chaotic mode that doesn't apply to regular DBD where you can't really tell when a killer is going to swing things around. Survivors have to gradually do generators in a consistent and predictable way. A single fuck up from a team of survivors, the killer can go from losing to instantly winning in 30 seconds with a really good slugging scenario or something like that. How can a system possibly predict that? What if you get a scenario where the gens are going much slower, but then the Oni gets 3 downs in a row and now the killer just wins? You see what I mean? These are not one-to-one comparisons because the graph of how well a killer's doing, it can be spaghetti. It can be all over the place. Whereas survivor generator speed is a consistent thing until the ending happens. So you can try to cater things the way a killer's doing, but if you do that for survivor, there's not much design space there. Hopefully you get what I'm trying to say there. It's a bit of an abstract topic talking about asymmetric things. It might not make any sense. I just want to throw that here on the end because it's an interesting conversation. But overall, I think things will be fine. I think this is going to be actually a pretty cool patch in the long term, assuming they fix a couple of problems, which they definitely need to address. But I think I am more optimistic about this patch than most. So the rest of this video, like I said, is just going to be me discussing everything with my chat, how I came to the conclusions I'm talking about right now. If you care, my chat just wanted me to upload it. You can ignore it. The majority of the video is basically done now. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Take a chill pill, relax. We'll see what happens in a month. Then we'll freak out if everything's the same. Until then, be a little optimistic. These things actually, in my opinion, could be really good for the game. There we go. Oh, let's turn that off so you can see Emma in the background. So, yeah. What you guys think? This shit is fucking crazy. Think Killer's got enough in this? I don't know. That's what I want to talk about. I need, like, other perspectives here. Obviously, we'll test this later. But, Jesus, man. This is some crazy, crazy shit. Patch notes? Yeah, they did some psycho changes. This is exciting. They'll get my hair cut like once a year? Yeah, pretty much. Killer Q's to be fixed? I know, dude. The selfish part of me is like, fuck yeah, this seems super Survivor-sided, so I won't have to wait 20 minutes for Killer Q's anymore. You can butter my biscuit? Don't SCVs in StarCraft say that? I'll butter your biscuit. It sounds like something they'd say. Anyway. This going on YouTube too? No, I already uploaded a video. Not doubling up. Glad they're doing something. Yeah, me too. That's kind of my whole stance on all this shit. Hey, Idio, thank you for the 69 months. Also nice. I'm really glad that they're doing drastic changes, because I think like one of the major things that people have problems with is there's so much stagnation, and it seems like nothing ever really changes. They just like, they do little changes, doesn't fix anything. Do little changes, doesn't fix anything. This is the kind of thing that's either going to break the game or like really put it in a good direction. So I respect them taking risks like this. Again, this is the PTB. They might just say fuck it and not do any of this. But I respect that they're trying some crazy shit to really address fundamental problems with the game. Well, these changes mask the fixes they promised. To me, this is their attempt at fixing things. Whether it'll work or not, I don't know. What do you think, Emma? What do you think of these changes? She's slow blinking at me, so I think she's okay with them. Hey, Max, thanks for the 10 months, man. This is just balanced slop. I mean, yeah, that's good. Dude, that's exactly the mindset I've been having, Birdman. Like, even if these end up being terrible changes, A, they can be reverted, but B, at least they're trying something. Adding base kit slow down while nerfing tunneling seems like a good idea. Oh my god, I'm dying. These changes, they're too peak. It is a good reason, yes. Hey, Spy, what's up? Do you think Q will work with Myers' new ability? No, no way. It's just, I guarantee they just recoded Pig's ambush. There's no way it does. Like the patch notes, I think these are them. Nope, sorry, I don't have them on my clipboard anymore. I mean, I can just do this. Shit. Here you go. Oh fuck. Sorry, 1 second. Shit, I keep clicking the wrong thing. Damn it! Stop it. There's an invisible GIF here I keep clicking. Good loaf back there? Yeah, it's a pretty good loaf. Oh boy. As someone that has never found camping and tunneling to be enjoyable, you're quite excited that your hook spreads will be rewarded, and mostly concerned about the last two changes with anti-tunnel, though, aka the gen repair speed buff and the gen regression prevention. Even like the elusive status is now you cannot get scratch marks between the unhooked survivor and the unhooker. I agree with that. Above all else, you're excited for the chaos. Yeah, that's pretty much what my opinions are about this topic. Oh, sorry. I was trying to link these to you. There you go. Okay, so I guess we can go over the slugging thing first. I don't think this slugging thing is going to be that big of a deal. I feel like people are going to freak out about this, but this is really not going to change very much at all. What do you guys think about this? I think this is mostly inconsequential. Don't know if I agree with the tunneling thing being inconsequential. That's going to change shit, but yeah, being able to unbreakable yourself after 90 seconds. I can't even remember the last time I had someone slug for 90 seconds. Like, I slug all the time when it's appropriate to do so. To build pressure when someone's nearby for a save or a flashlight or whatever. But 90 seconds is almost half of the entire bar. Like, I feel like I never see it. Did she deactivate an endgame? Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Also, Pixel, I tried calling you during my video. You didn't pick up. I'm very upset. I wanted to get your live reaction to Myers becoming Dash Slop. Me calling you is in the video, so hope you enjoy. Gonna run plot twist for Invocation Infinite Unbreakable. Oh, you think you're gonna slug yourself for a minute and a half just so you can have Unbreakable for the rest of the game? That is not worth the trade-off, my friend. I see, Pixel. Fair enough. Hey, Tierney. When did this drop? It just dropped like an hour ago. Oh, man. Okay, so this line, I think this is completely fine. You have Tenacity's basic kit now? Not really, no. It's different. This line is okay. I think most people will agree that this line is fine. Yeah, Pixel, I mentioned flip-flop power struggle being affected by this potentially. It does seem like... This line I am completely okay with. There is no downside to this line in my opinion at all. I think this is just straight up a good change for the game. It basically only punishes killers that are straight up slugging people to death. Very rarely you might get someone that, like, an Oni is popping off and he's got 3 people slug and he's looking for the 4th and then it's been too long. So maybe, you know, every once in a while there'll be a scenario that's crazy, but for the most part, I think this is nothing. It's not going to affect almost every game. This is also probably not a huge deal. Also punishes twins. Good. Gradually increasing crawling speed for survivors who left in the dying state. Flicking for the 4K. Yeah, good. I hate that shit. Just hook them. Stop spending 4 minutes to get 2,000 more blood points. Jesus Christ. Gradually increases crawling speed for survivors who left in the dying state. I originally was concerned about this, but then I saw like the actual image and it's not a big deal. You actually like don't get increased movement speed for a while. So it's pretty much just the same. So this, I don't really think this matters at all. This, I don't think I agree with. I don't like that change. I don't think you should be able to recover as you're crawling by default instantly. Again, maybe once you start getting the increased movement speed, like, you know, after 30 seconds or something, sure, that's fine. But the fact that you can recover and crawl at the same time, I don't like that because there are plenty of ways to abuse that. You can recover while crawling to a pallet, which gives you the pallet as protection. If you have conviction, you can have both options much faster. You can have flip-flop power struggle and activate that faster without needing to bring another perk for it. Like, it kind of makes certain gimmick builds stronger when they don't really need to be. I don't really think this is a good idea. I like that they're forcing survivors to recover. I kind of liked the strategic choice of, do I recover here or do I go somewhere safer? The fact that you just get them both for free, I don't really agree with. I don't think that's a good idea. How is Tenacity going to work then? I'm assuming you just have the increased movement speed by default. I'm sure they're going to change Tenacity in some way, though. Point is to nerf slugging because it gives too much value in solo queue. See, I don't think slugging has to be nerfed unless it's like extreme slugging, like slugging singularity, like just only slugging people to death sort of thing. People slugging as a win condition, I think, needs to be nerfed. But just occasional slugging for pressure when someone's nearby or there's a flashlight or you have infectious fright and see somebody or something like that, that doesn't need to be nerfed at all. That's a vital part of playing killer. And I think nerfing that is kind of stupid. So they did say they updated several perks to account for these changes. So like I said, Tenacity is going to be changed in some way. I don't know what they're going to do, but it will be different. Survivors that go down in shit places like in front of hooks should be punished. See, half of me is like, yes. Through negative reinforcement, they should learn that's a bad idea, and thus they will get better at the game. But the other half of me, the casual side, is like, yeah, but people are stupid and they're never going to care about getting better. And so, I don't know if they should be punished for being stupid like that. Probably they should, but it's kind of hard. It's not black and white. wonder if this would work out any better if you had reduced recovery while crawling. That is a cool idea. Either you have reduced movement speed or reduced recovery while you're moving. Make it a trade-off. So if you want to move and recover, you go slower. Things like that. Kind of Capri Sun am I slipping today? It is still fruit punch. It's like the only one I drink. Does Bubba deserve a 4K with a good chainsaw? I don't understand this question. I saw you ask it earlier. I don't know what that means. Are you saying if all the survivors are just sitting next to each other and they just stand still and let him chainsaw them? I guess, yes, he would deserve a 4K. It's more like the other survivors would deserve to die than the killer deserved anything. He didn't earn anything, you know? Hey, Ricky Wiki, what's up? Is that the sound that happens when you, like, do the DJ shit? Ricky Wiki. He would still get the 4K after these changes? Yeah, I don't know why he's implying that anything would change there. They're not going to be slugged for 90 seconds. You'll have plenty of time to pick them all up. Infectious Fright chaining from each one. If they are all so close that they go down in one chainsaw, yes, they all deserve to die. In Temple, what's up? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, sir. I just wanted to go over things in order. But overall, I think the slugging thing, this is not really an issue most of the time. This is a little concerning. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to matter, but there's a couple of scenarios that I'm not happy with them buffing this for no reason. I think everything else is completely fine. It's not going to really have a big impact on much of anything. We'll see what the perk changes do, though. They could make them kind of crazy. Rip Tenacity? No, they're, like I said, they're definitely going to change it. Do that 90-second unbreakable slot if the last survivor gets downed. Probably, yeah. Because that's sort of the end of the game at that point. There's definitely a couple of caveats they need to add for this for sure. Alright, so this is overall not a huge deal. I didn't see a king. Wonder if Power Struggle flip-flop will be changed? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, this is the meaty shit. I do not like this first line at all. I really get what they're coming from here, but I do not like this. That is so impactful. I think this is the most impactful thing on the entire list. A lot of people are focusing on, like, the downsides of tunneling and stuff like that. I'm most scared of this one. Because it will affect me even though I'm not tunneling. It gets worse. To me, this is the thing I am most scared of. Most of these other things are not going to affect me in my playstyle. This is, I am genuinely worried about. Because that information is just, it's so useful. Like, when the unhook happens, even if you're not going to tunnel, you can still go back and chase the other guy, you know what I mean? And that's often what I do. Like, often I won't know where anybody is after I've gotten a hook on a barbecue and chili or something, so I'm just wandering around. I see the unhook, and I go, oh, okay, at least I know half the team's there. And so I go chase the unhooker. The unhooked guy is not getting tunneled. He fucks off and heals or whatever. But I just chase the unhooker. And now I can't really do that. So now I'm getting punished for just simply not knowing where people are because I don't have X-ray vision. Like, I don't know. You won't get the explosion unhook notification. It'll be delayed, apparently. Or something. I don't know. It says the hook's... It's not immediately revealed. We don't know exactly what this means yet, but... Yeah, probably. You're just not going to get the bubble anymore. They're giving you BBQ baseline so you always know where to go. That's the thing. It depends if that's aura dependent or not. They didn't specify. They just said it reveals them. Is it Killer Instinct? Is it an aura? Because if it's an aura, lockers outplay it. What's it, rage meta? Yeah, kind of. It would hide behind gens. I mean, that's not super effective, but still, it's abusable, which is the problem. Running back to hook shouldn't be the best strategy. Even if you're chasing someone, it's better to get where 2 people are. Well, I feel like you contradicted yourself there. It shouldn't be the best strategy, even though it's the best strategy, is what you're saying, basically? Doesn't this just punish killers who aren't camping while proxy camping allows you to still visibly see the hook? Yes. That is, I think, my biggest fear, is this change genuinely incentivizes killers to actually camp more. If they have no information. If they're blight and they can see the aura of someone, of course they'll go chase, not a big deal. But not every killer's got that mobility. So not every killer wants to go fly across the map. I say fly across the map. If it's a trapper, you're going to walk 40 seconds across the map to start a chase with one guy. Why would you do that when you can just hover around for 10 seconds, the unhook happens, then you can start a chase in 15 seconds, you know? Yeah, Fluff, I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Pixel. There's some killers that, like, even if they have information of where somebody is, it's just not feasible to go there. This is just PTB, yeah. The hasten or it's not going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough. It doesn't outweigh the downside. Oh, I see what you're saying, Ramses. Yes, yes. Ugh. Defending one area should be erased for the game in general. That's a very hard thing to fix, though. We're gonna have to micromanage hooks in order to not tunnel now. To be fair, the UI now tells you if you're tunneling, basically. There's going to be an indicator that shows you if you are tunneling. So you're not going to accidentally tunnel. You're going to be doing it on purpose if you're trying it. But yeah, this line I really don't like. I do not like this at all. I love how it's disabled once all gens are completed, as if that's not the most useless time to have it. Because if you have someone hooked in endgame, you're likely just camping them, because what else are you going to do, right? This is the one time it doesn't actually matter, and then it gets disabled. Like, what? Okay. Great. You're gonna have to actively avoid a survivor in front of you that you just hooked. Yeah, to be fair, that'll be a lot easier because they lose collision now. Killers got haste outside of X meters away from a hook. Yeah, but then you would turn that into killers abusing it in chase, and then that would be stupid too. That's such a hard problem to fix. Everyone needs, like, springtrap doors or something. I don't know. But if you do that, you remove killer powers that have that, so... Or rather, by adding that base kit, you nerf those killers indirectly, you know? Yeah. This line, don't like. Very bad. Well, not very bad. You know, I can respect where they're coming from, at least. The idea is they want to give people that are going to be tunneled a bit more of a chance to get away, you know what I mean? Which is, in theory, it's a nice idea. I just think the way this is going to happen is going to have negative impacts on people that aren't tunneling. Road to hell stuff? Yeah, exactly. Their heart is in the right place here. I just think they're not foreseeing the negative outcomes of it. We'll see. Unhooked survivors gain haste, endurance, and elusive. Elusive, for those that don't know, it's basically you just get off the record and lucky break combined for 10 seconds. Which is okay. I'm fine with that. Ugh. We're going to be playing the PoE 2 League in 4 hours? Yes. Definitely planning on that. That's part of why I'm streaming early today. I'm out of Capri Sun. My life is over. I'm making a video on this later. Oh, I already did. I already spent 45 minutes talking about it in depth. I just want chat feedback now. Because, yeah, this is a lot. I can't just think about this myself. Will I play Borderlands 4? Yeah, I'm planning on checking it out. It's pretty soon, right? It's a couple weeks. Yeah, that guy. I mean, it's still likely a month away before this actually would hit live, so there's plenty of time to change things. This is a great line. I love this. I've been asking for this for basically since they added base kit BT. No collision with other players when you get unhooked is so good. Myers will not be S tier, no way. This is very good, though. This makes it so people cannot aggressively use their borrowed time to body block. If you try to do that, you'll just clip inside the other survivor and the killer can just walk past you. That's a very good idea. Killer can't block basement stairs. Oh yeah, that's another unintended, or maybe intended side effect too, which is also good. I think that's kind of a boring strat too. So that I think that's just overall very good for the game. This is just It helps killer, it helps survivor, it helps everybody. It's just nice. It was a no-brainer. Been asking for that for 5 years now, so I'm glad they finally added it. Very happy with that. You get immunity to killer instinct, and you also see the killer's aura nearby when you're unhooked. That mostly doesn't really matter. You can pretty much gauge where they're coming from based on the Terradius and just run the opposite direction. It'll help a little bit, but... They're lost when you do a conspicuous action. That's a no-brainer. All these except pace and endurance are disabled once all gens are completed, so you basically just revert back to current DBD at the end game, which is fine. Not a big deal. Unique effect that indicates the last survivor that they hooked. So this is basically, so you like we just said earlier, you don't have to micromanage who you have hooked. You're not going to accidentally tunnel someone, which is nice. I actually really appreciate that because very often I'll be trying to not tunnel somebody, and then I'll just accidentally do it. I'm like, oh fuck, wait, that guy was on the hook last, so I like that. I think it's neat. We're back to getting unlockers whenever someone gets hooked. We don't know if it's an aura or not. I don't know. After completing a unique hook, which is the same survivor not hooked consecutively. So how many times a game can you do that technically? Is it 8 or 10? My brain is too stupid. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, no. It'd be 6, right? No, it's not 4. That's the first hook. You can hook all survivors twice. No. It's not. That's not how it works, Angel. It's not like pain res or anything like that. It's just. It's not once per survivor. No, it's you can alternate the same survivor. You can hook survivor A and B, A and B, A and B. Yeah, this is not a pain res scenario. You can alternate the same people. It's just the only requirement is the same survivor is not hooked consecutively, not the first time. Wouldn't it be 11? I guess technically, yeah, because you could just alternate between all of them. Except the last one, obviously, will be dead. So. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so you can get this technically 11 times, but at that point, the game's over. So realistically, it's more like 7, 8 times you would actually get tangible benefits. Killers get the following benefits. Bonus damage from the next gen kick. I really hope this is something actually, like, pretty big. Like, but not too big. What's a good number for this? I'm thinking like 10, yeah, like the total kick is going to be 10 or 15, so probably +5 or +10. Does it stack with pop? It would stack with pop, yes. I wonder which would trigger first, though. Probably pop, because pop is total percentage based. Or no, current percentage based, I'm sorry. That plus pop's crazy value. Yeah, like I said, it's going to depend on the number. If this is just 5% or something, I don't think it's going to matter that much. That's like 4 seconds of gen save time. It's not that crazy. Tunneling someone would still be better, you know what I mean? It's nice, and like, dude, the thing I'm happy about, like, all this shit, I'm just getting a straight buff. Like, the way I've been playing the game for the past 8 years, I am just getting massively buffed. Which is, so I'm happy with, like, all this. I don't like this one. This line sucks, but all this shit is just straight up buffing me. Which is kind of cool. Wonder if they'll pop in accordance. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know which order the perks and the base effect would happen in. Temporary haste status effect. That, I don't know, man. Like, how long is it going to be? What's the number? Because if it's just like, oh, you get 5% haste for 5 seconds, like, okay, cool. This aura 50 meters away, I'll get to 1 second faster. Epic. Huge change. Like, that's not going to matter. But at the same time, if it's like you gain 15% haste for 10 seconds and then there's another survivor nearby or something like that, now you just get Bloodlust 3 just by default for hooking a guy. Like, it's so hard to not make this oppressive in a chase, but also make it have actual map control usefulness. So, I don't know. Or cat meowing. Yeah, Philip's chilling behind me. Base kit BBQ doesn't state a minimum range. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think if you're intentionally not tunneling people, you should get more information. Haste buff on hook is scary for strong killers, even with personal nerfs to S tier killers. Yeah. Like I said, depends on the number. Hope the new de-incentivizations doesn't go through. Yeah, we'll get to that. There's a couple of concerning things there for sure. Forever meow back at my cats all the time. All the time. We have conversations. Yeah. So like these two, it's very hard to tell how good it's gonna be. Just the numbers are too important to make any further discussion with this. How will a casual killer handle not tunneling survivors playing the same characters? Well, pretty easily. When you're chasing somebody, you'll see the chase icon on their UI, and you'll also have the symbol that lets you know if they're the last one hooked. You just look at the UI. You can pretty easily tell. I suppose if, like, there's a flock of people using the same cosmetic all running together in a straight line, I mean, sure, I guess then you wouldn't know, but at this point, who gives a fuck? You're playing a clown game where no one's doing anything, so who cares? Temporary reveal survivors like Base Cape, Barbecue, and Chili that have less or equal hook states to the hook survivor. So this is basically how 2v8 works. When a generator pops in 2v8, everyone that has not been hooked yet gets revealed. It's sort of like a similar thing where the people who have not been... Well, it's not even that they haven't been hooked yet. It's everyone that has less than or equal hooks gets revealed. So basically what this means, when you hook your first survivor, you're going to see every other survivor, right? That's kind of crazy. I'm just like now appreciating that. That is a crazy buff to killer. That gives you so much information. Like even to a tunneling killer, that gives them information on their first hook. They just know where the team is. That's fucking huge. Yeah, I feel like I might have understated how strong that is. Would it count consecutive if it's the first hook? You're right. Technically, no, it wouldn't count the first hook. Because this whole section is just this part. You're right. It would be your second hook. Your second hook, you would get information. Because your first hook can't be consecutive because it's your first hook. Still, crazy. Super nice. It's a unique hook, though. Yeah, but the specific wording they used here, the same survivor not hooked consecutively, that is very specific wording. I'm overthinking. I think you guys might be underthinking. I don't know. I guess we'll see. It could be unique in the sense that, like, pain res is unique one time, or it could be, it needs to be, the condition might be the survivor you hooked is not the person you last hooked. But maybe not. I don't know. It's not super clear. So I guess we'll see. But, dude, if that shit works on the first hook, that would be an insane buff to every killer, even people that are going to relentlessly tunnel. It still buffs even tunneling killers. Yes, Blue, it can. You think the first hook you get will apply these if you exclude the parentheses? Maybe. Like I said, we're just kind of assuming here. But that's regardless. Even if it's from the second hook onward, that's still a massive, massive buff to killer. That basically gives you... Oh, God, that gives you so much information. So much information. Like, you have to think, like, bigger than just, like, where survivors are. This lets you know approximately how quick someone is going to get saved. It lets you know approximately how much progress is on a generator. It lets you know, like, it lets you know so much shit if you get to see the entire team on your first hook. That's such a massive buff. That might as well just be giving, like, Lethal Pursuer to every killer for free now. It's a huge buff to killer. Yeah, obviously this is a huge nerf to killer. Like I'm saying, they're giving and taking a lot of shit away. That's what I'm saying. This is just fucking chaos. Like, there's just so much crazy shit happening. Does it work like BBQ? I don't know. They said think base kit, BBQ, and chili, but then they didn't specify a range. They just simply said if you have less or equal hooks than the hook survivor. So that means if everybody has been hooked once and you hook another survivor, you would still see their auras again. Wish they wouldn't do 30 things at the same time and try out smaller changes first. Ah, fuck that. Go crazy. I just realized... Okay, never mind. You really fear the D... Yeah. We'll get to that. Dude, this line. I seriously, I want to spend 3 hours talking about this line. Do people understand why this line is so impactful to the game? This is the craziest patch note I've ever seen in the entire game's history. Now, class, who can tell me why this is extremely impactful? You will get extra credit. Yes, exactly. It means that further game balancing is not locked by the presence of, like, Nurse existing. It means now they can design things going forward, perks, base kit mechanics, everything that acknowledge, you know, the S-tier killers can do things and use perks and effects far more effectively than other killers. So if they make those effects weaker for the strongest killers, it means they are finally acknowledging the incredible disparity in the killer strength balance, which is very good. If they do that, it finally means they don't necessarily have to make Trapper as good as Nurse. They can just make things benefit Nurse less and benefit Trapper more, if that makes sense. That is a huge stepping stone into the right direction of the game. That is so... I cannot stress how important that line is. It has been almost, like, not almost 9 years. It's been, you know, 8 years, and this is the first time they have finally acknowledged something like this. They have finally said, okay, these killers are stronger than the other ones, so it's not going to be as strong in these guys. That is such a huge change. Isn't it contradictory since this patch kind of opens the power gap even further? Well, that's the point. They're trying to lessen that gap specifically for the killers that are stronger already and can do this stuff no problem. Even if you don't appreciate it, I promise this is an extremely good thing for the game.
These natural words that mean things, and happy 11.25 years apparently.
Psychotic, thank you for the 135 months. Jesus Christ. That is a lot. That is older than some people in chat. Thanks, man. Don't forget when they removed the exposed one hit from Nurse. Yeah, but that wasn't like changing a base mechanic. That was just changing the Nurse's attack to be a special attack. That wasn't like a systemic game change thing, you know what I mean? That was just like one instance of one thing. I get what you're saying, though. It is kind of similar to that. It's important because if they get it wrong, they're showing us it's needed. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I think these are pretty good choices. This is basically the top 5. These are pretty much the 5 best killers in the game. So, it seems they have like an internal tier list, which from what I can tell is pretty accurate. You could argue like Twins might be in there, Singularity might be close, Spirit might be close there too, but for the most part, I think this is a lot of people's top 5. So, that's kind of nice to see. Shouldn't effects be lessened for Houndmaster as well? Is her mobility not good enough? I wouldn't say her mobility is good enough. It's decent, but it's not great. This is Hans' top 5. This is, I think, my top 5 too. Obviously not in this order, but... Feels like they're starting to look more at community opinions over their precious stat spreadsheets. Yeah, maybe. Don't different parts of the world have different top 5s? Sure. Obviously, like, the top 5 varies between regions and players and stuff. I would say the top 10 is pretty unanimous amongst most experienced players, though. No matter the region. I'm feeling the new haircut. I'm not feeling it. I don't feel hair getting in my face. It's nice. Pinhead seems the GOAT for Japan. Yeah, that's weird. I don't understand that at all. He's just not that good. Glad they're buffing Vampire and nerfing Dog on Dracula. Yeah, we'll get to that later. That's a very minor thing in the grand scheme of how insane this patch is, but that's very, very good. Wonderful stuff. All right, let's talk about the scary shit now. This stuff is scary. New effects that de-incentivize tunneling. Is it de-incentivize or disincentivize? I thought it was de-incentivize. Is it disincentivize? Have I been saying this shit wrong the entire time? Oh my god, really? I feel so stupid now. De-incentivize. It is disincentivized. What the fuck? Oh no! You pronounce it... Wait. You actually, you kind of pronounce it the way I'm saying. You still say de-incentivize. Like, if you look at the pronunciation, you actually say D-I at the start, like D. I can't see it. Like D's nuts, yeah. Huh. Okay, so it's spelled differently, but still, you still say it the same way. Weird. Anyway, yeah, this shit is scary. You say dis? That's not what Google tells me. Disincentivize. That. Google it. Google how to pronounce it. Look. You see the first? You can't. It's blurry as shit. The first part says D-I. That's D. Is the audio saying it though? It doesn't matter. Let's move on. If the survivor dies before 6 total hook states, all remaining survivors gain a repair speed bonus for the rest of the trial. That is fine, I kind of think. These effects should disable at 1 to 2 gens left. I could kind of agree with that as well. I don't think that's a huge deal. For the most part. There's a couple of issues with that, but it's not a huge deal for the most part. That's not the line that scares me. Yeah, if this is like at 3, 4, or 5 gens, I think this is okay. But as it gets closer to the end of the game, it probably shouldn't happen anymore. It also depends what this repair speed bonus is. If this repair speed bonus is like 5% or something, killers won't give a shit. They'll just do it anyway, because it's you basically have to do the math and determine if the potential alive survivor is faster than or equal to the repair speed bonus that one less person would get. You know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, I would say it's probably going to be just worth it. You would still want to tunnel in that scenario. But if this is like 20% or something crazy, then yeah, I don't know. It should be gradual. Yeah, I can agree with that for sure. Like I said, this is not the line that scares me. This is the line that scares me. If a survivor that was last hooked is sacrificed or killed, generators cannot be regressed or blocked. Like, that, I think, is stupid. I don't like that at all. I get what they're saying here, that if you get a kill early, then the fact that you can't regress gens anymore shouldn't matter because it's a 3v1, and at that point, you're probably going to win regardless. But that still worries me too much. Like, if you just, like, I could get, like, 7 hooks. I have 2 people on death hook. I chase one guy that's on death hook that was just hooked, and then I hook him. So now I have 8 hooks total, and I still get penalized. Like, again, I can appreciate where they're coming from, but I feel like this is... I would rather them do nothing than potentially punish people that aren't playing it in a super sweaty way, which it's going to do. Any survivor dying at any point? No, basically, if a survivor dies and he was also the last hook before the hook he just had, basically, if you hook any survivor twice in a row, and the second hook is the one that kills them, then gens cannot be regressed or blocked for the rest of the game, I guess. This could lead to situations where the last unhooked person throws himself to the killer knowing it'll hinder the killer if they get killed. See, that's the thing that's kind of making me, like, think this might be okay is, yes, that's true, but still, the guy being dead is still a bigger benefit. You know what I mean? Like, even if I hook the same person twice and I can't kick gens anymore, can't regress them anymore, and survivors get a repair speed bonus, killing someone early is still better than all of that. Like, I can't express how much easier the game becomes when it's a 3v1. I think all this is making it do is making it so 3v1s are no longer a foregone conclusion where the killer just basically wins, as long as there's several gens left. But it does make scenarios where the killer and survivors are kind of in an equal playing field and there's like 1 or 2 gens left, and then he gets his first kill. Now the killer's like, okay, I kind of gotta kill people here. I'm gonna fucking lose if I don't. And now I get punished? I think all of this can be really saved by just making it not work when there's like 2 or less gens left or something like that. In many situations where people went through V1. Right, my point is they need to add a caveat that says, you know, if the game is still like pretty balanced, then this shouldn't happen. If you get your first kill with 1 or 2 gens left, the killer shouldn't be penalized, even if he tunnels at that point. Like, actually, just straight up if he tunnels. If you got 1 gen left, who fucking cares? You're about to lose. You gotta tunnel someone. Like, that's fine. Like, there's only so much niceness they should expect from killers. Two gens for the top 5 killers, 3 for the others. Fuck it, sure. Now that precedent is set, have differing levels of gens for the killers. That's cool. Do I expect kill rates to drop or increase after this? I expect them to drop. Without a doubt. I expect my kill rates to probably increase, to be honest. But I think the majority will drop.
Feel like they could change how the killer roster looks, put them into individual groups.
I thought about that.
They are doing with the Grimoire, and give the groups individual benefits. The way you don't overbuff the system for killers that are high, it are low. Just so you can play the game as trap right. I mean, they are aware of the system.
I get what you're saying, but it's too easily abused, because at that point you'd have to go, Pig is a dash killer. Blight's a dash killer. Let's balance these killers in the same way, you know what I mean? I think you need to go individual from the killers, not categories. How can I understand the TTS? I didn't. I was just looking at the message. Anyway, yeah, I think very simple way to fix this and not making an issue is just make it so this no longer functions when there's like 1 or 2 gens left. Because, yeah, if you're tunneling someone out at 4 or 5 gens, then, yeah, fuck it. Maybe you need a little bit of a... maybe you need to be disincentivized a little bit to do that. But if you're got 1 or 2 gens left and you're starting to get close to losing and you need to get your kill, then, I mean, that's... I don't know. You shouldn't be punished for that. Are you recapping the video? I'm sort of recapping it, but also, like, taking chat input, too, and really thinking about this more and having, like, a huge discussion about it. This patch is so good for you if you never like tunneling. That's what I'm saying. I personally, this is going to legit make the game so much easier for me. Like, I get so many perks for free now. This is fucking awesome for me. But I'm not stupid. I realize most people don't have 87,000 hours in the game, and they need to rely on tunneling and stuff like that to win. Like, I'm not an idiot. I understand that. So, again, selfishly, I'm like, fuck yeah, ship all these. I'm happy with this. But I realize for the most part, this will cause kill rates to drop. And trust me, I think it would be good if overall people learned to play without tunneling, but you can't expect everyone to do that. It's harder to do that. Spreading pressure is just harder, and not everyone cares to get that good at the game. It's just... I don't know. There's also the complexity angle. How do new players understand all this stuff? And they don't really have to. New players don't have to understand any of this shit. Just keep playing the game as normal, and these systems kind of work in the background. I guess it would be confusing if the generators suddenly became blocked and they couldn't kick them. But then we just Google, why might Gen get blocked in Dead by Daylight? And then they'll read this change and go, oh, okay. Like, it's not that crazy. Tunneling doesn't even happen that often. We tend to remember these games more. Yeah, like I said, I've done the tunneling experiment, and it was the minority of games by far. But that was also at high MMR, and I've heard that in lower MMR, people tunnel a lot more. Because it's the only thing they know how to do, which is fair. So, my and our reality, I'm guessing everyone that's here probably plays the game a lot. Most people that don't play the game a lot or play casually are not looking at these streams, reading patch notes. They don't care about this shit, and that's the people that this is going to affect, you know? Making these effects based on gen count lets survivors play around them a bit. Oh, like by 99ing gens? Yeah, but 99ing gens is always a huge risk. What if the killer's got pain res or any regression at all? I don't think that's an issue. I think if you 99 gens, it's very risky, so. You need to think in survivors getting crushed by a tunneling blight with a 1k win streak? Yeah, that's sort of what this is all meant to address. How miserable the average solo queue match is for survivor. the gens are perma-blocked. Yeah, if you kill someone and they were the last person hooked, gens can't be regressed and they're blocked for the entire game. Like, you can't touch them at all, which is a huge downside. If MMR works, should they balance based on MMR bracket? Yeah, that's a very big if. Unfortunately, it does not work, so. This is going to be on YouTube. This will not be on YouTube. No, I already made a video about it. This discussion's not going to be there. Better solo queue is, the better behavior can work on balancing. I'm okay with this. Yeah, the whole thing is they need to make solo queue and survive with friends closer and closer together, and as they get closer and closer to doing that, it makes it more feasible to balance the game as a whole. So that's what they've been trying to do with the UI and things like that. So they're attempting it and getting there. Yeah, I don't know. Give a summary of what's happening? I'm just talking about the patch. Oh, do you mean summary of the entire patch? Not really. Tunneling and slugging are getting massively changed, and Myers is now a dash killer for some reason. I guess that's the biggest summary I could do. You're confused why the anti-camp and now anti-slug bar still isn't shown in the HUD? I am also confused about that. Is it a good or bad patch, though? I don't know yet. I need to actually play it. There's too many things that are based on numbers that we don't have. Does it make tier 3 Myers horrible? We'll get to Myers. That's a small drop in the bucket compared to the psycho shit that's going on this patch. Is it out? No, this is not coming out for like a month. You can only regress gens again once you hook someone else's after someone has died. No, you can never hook... You can't regress gens ever again if you kill someone in that manner. Alright, Chicken Nuggets, I love you too. See you next expansion. PTB should be next week, and then the live patch will be 3 weeks after that, so it's a month away. Holy dog shit patch. I swear to God, I must be like an intentional contrarian or something, because I am more optimistic about this patch than I have been for many patches. And I think the main reason is they're just trying some crazy shit. And I like that. I like that they're not keeping the status quo of just like, no, we'll just, here's a base kit borrowed time, tunneling's fixed now. Oh, here's a little bit of a base kit this, it's fixed now. Here's a little bit of a base kit haste, it's fixed now. Like, no, you're not fixing anything. You're just putting band-aids on band-aids on band-aids. This is them actually trying surgery at this point. And it might kill the patient, or it might not. It might cure them permanently. That's why I think it's so exciting. Like, I'm excited about this. It's good to be excited. Yeah, exactly. Enough playing it safe. Let's try some nuclear shit and see what happens. Worst case scenario, they just revert it, you know? It's PTB. Exactly, Bob. Like, this is not as cataclysmic as people are saying it is. We'll get feedback on the PTB, and we'll see from there. I'm the agent of chaos. I'm not the agent of chaos. I'm reporting on behavior being the agents of chaos right now. I think accidentally triggering the no-gen regression is too easy since you can only see if someone just got hooked, not if they're on death hook. I mean, yeah, but I still don't think that's as big of a deal because you'll know who the last person hooked was. But regardless, like I said, I don't think this should work when there's like 1 or 2 gens left. There does need to be a generator factor here, or this is going to be punishing people that it shouldn't punish, in my opinion. Killer Main's going to cry so loud this is not going live. Oh, yeah, for sure. See, like, part of me, I'm, like, laughing because I don't care. Because I think people that have only learned to play Killer in a single way and have not changed anything about them deserve to get... They deserve to lose more, in my opinion. I don't think you should do the same brainless strategy every single game and win 75% of your games. You know what I mean? I don't think people should be rewarded for that. At the same time, I realize that not everybody has the time of day to get good enough at Killer where they can consistently win without doing that. So it punishes the casual player base, which, to be fair, is most of the player base. So I'm very split on my opinion on this. And on the one hand, I'm kind of laughing at people that can only win by tunneling. On the other hand, I kind of feel bad because some people legitimately can only win by tunneling because they don't care enough about the game. But then at that point, I'm like, okay, well, if you don't care about the game enough, then you shouldn't be winning like more than most people. Like, you should be having a 50% win rate then. That would be average. That'd be fine. But then those people cannot comprehend the idea of winning 50% of their games because DBD is the most fucking weird community where a 70% win rate is seen as low for a killer for some reason. So my brain, like chaos, just chaos on my brain right now. I do think possible controversial take. Killers in Dead by Daylight are too comfortable with... They're too comfortable with thinking that a 70% win rate is low. Or 60% win rate is low. If the balancing system works properly, you should have a 50 to 55% win rate. And yet, most killers complaining have above that. And they need to be comfortable with losing half their matches. If MMR worked correctly, you should theoretically be losing about half your matches. Unless you are one of the best players in the world, which you're probably not, I'm not, you should be winning about half your matches. But people, for some reason, in this game in particular, cannot grasp that concept. Every other game I played, if you got like if you have a 60% win rate, people are like, damn, nice. That's pretty fucking good. Like, if you have a 60% win rate and like high MMR StarCraft, you're very good. That you're insanely good. That means you're winning more often than you are losing against pros. That is crazy. The problem is the win is not defined by the game and everyone has different definitions of it. Not true. I wouldn't say that's true anymore. A win for killer is 3 kills and above. There's a very clear killer win condition. A survivor is you escape or you don't. It's pretty clear. It's not good in those they're stupid conditions, but they are clear. Did you think about what happens if Survivor surrenders on Hook in second stage? Would that trigger the unblockable gens? I mean, you can't really kill yourself on Hook, so that's not an issue. And no, if they just die on their second hook, that's not you hooking them again, so it wouldn't trigger. You have to actually put them on the hook again. If someone just dies on their second hook, that's on them. A lot of losing DBD is out of hands on both sides, for sure, yeah. There's a lot of RNG components of this game that make you win games that you should not win and lose games you should win, so. It only says sacrificed or killed, not hooked. That's true. At the same time, that still means you're getting someone out of the match only having hooked them twice, which is still hugely beneficial for killer. Look, boil it down to a black and white scenario like this. Would you prefer the killer have no regression or 25% of your team being dead? I still think you would prefer the no regression thing. You know what I mean? Having a player dead is so detrimental to your progress as a survivor that it's still... Yeah, like I said, it comes down to how many gens left. How many gens left? Yeah, exactly. I think most good killers would rather someone dead and have no regression. Now, however, if it's in like a 3-gen scenario and you're down to 1 generator, then I kinda don't know, because then being able to kick and control a 3-gen might be better. So like I said, the generators remaining is very important to this discussion. Yeah, Behavior said they want killers to be winning slightly more than survivors. You're done with killer? I mean, maybe you should wait for them to actually do this, Javad. This is not happening for over a month, and we don't even know if half the shit's going to make it to live, so... These are preliminary patch notes for a PTB that's not even out. It's a little dramatic to say I'm just done with killer forever. I get, like, freaking out about this. I get it. It is very chaotic, but just chill. It's not going to matter for a while. I'm done with Survivor. I'm done with Dead by Daylight. No regression and 1 dead equals roughly 25% global regression. I mean, that's sort of a way to look at it. No, you can't do that. It doesn't work like that. You can't quantify that to a simple number because there's just too many variables that go into another survivor being alive. Saves happens quicker, which means heals happens quicker, which means chases are not longer, which there's just 50 butterfly effects that happen from another survivor being alive. You can't do that. If the game unambiguously states you win or you lose, like in an actual competitive game, you'll always have some diluted discussions of it. Some people consider it a win if they get 30k PP per match. I mean, that's fine. You can consider whatever you want to be a win, and that's fine. But you're delusional at that point.
He's right. I hadn't played the game since Nemesis came out.
If you're getting a 0k every game, and then you go, but I had fun, so I'm a winner. It's like, sure, whatever. You can believe whatever you want, but you're wrong. That's fine. But hey, click thanks to the 41. Shut up. Why do you still watch my streams? Problem is that for killers with lesser mobility, you don't really care too much about the regression because you can't get to the gens very easily anyway. You'd rather have someone dead. Yeah, that's a fair point, for sure. When Jagged Compass make hiding the unhook meaningless? Oh, because you'll hear the sound, I guess? If they're on a... technically, because it'll make a skirt choke and you'll hear the sound. They would have to change that, you're right. But if they change that, then Jagged Compass wouldn't do anything. So, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. What's Jagged Compass? Jagged Compass is whenever you are unhooked, that hook becomes a skirt choke. It's also got another aura reading effect, but... it plays a very loud sound when a skirt choke is generated, which happens when you unhook somebody. So, theoretically, you would have a notification when someone gets unhooked. So, yeah, that actually does kind of counter what they're doing. They should add a new thing to the game as definitive win condition. You have to feed the entity to a certain point to classify it as a win. I think that would be better, yeah. The whole point of the entity is feeding off of as much, feeding off of hope and despair and all that stuff. So it would make sense if you had to just torture people for longer, not just tunnel them out quickly, you know what I mean? If you kill someone, they can't suffer anymore. Pinhead would disapprove. Fuzz activates when a survivor's unhooked too. Yeah. They did say they're going to change a bunch of perks that involve that stuff, so. Like, they are going to address these things, I think. At this point, wait for all killers to get some dash mobility because low tier killers don't have tools to win without tunneling. I don't think that's black and white true. But, it's a no-brainer sentence that say people that... or killers with mobility are always going to be better. I think most of the negatives will be skewed towards the upper end of the killer power scale. You're more worried about the sanded down version we'll see on live. Yeah, I'm willing to bet we're not going to get all of this shit. I think there's going to be too much outcry and they're going to kind of go back on a lot of this. Which, to be fair, I think some of this does need to be gone back on. Myers will have an add-on that lets him play his current Myers. Yeah, his Fragrant Tuft of Hair will keep him permanent tier 3, but he loses his lunge. Or his ambush or whatever. So it'll just basically make him like current Myers. Yeah, anti-cam meter basically doesn't matter. Hen said the unhook notification delays 10 seconds. Yeah, that's rough. That's gonna hurt killers a lot. Is Wraith safe from the nerfs and only got buffs? Wraith is fine. He wasn't affected, I don't think. Why don't they say the numbers? I don't know. Kind of surprised it wasn't a big outcry when Hook States became 70 seconds. There was. There definitely was. People bitched about that. Said they're quitting killer, blah, blah, blah. Nothing happened. 10 seconds is big. Yeah, that's huge. That is a huge nerf to even me when I'm not even trying to tunnel people. They say what they changed to Myers add-ons? No, but I mean, you can assume what a lot of them are going to be because he's like fundamentally different now. Thoughts on changes so far? I would say mostly good, but some of these are potentially very problematic if they don't have caveats like adding a minimum number of gens for this kind of stuff, or maximum number. What am I trying to say? Minimum number of gens. No, maximum. You want it to be at or below. It's a good precedent that they're willing to changes. Yeah, that's the thing. Overall, like, I am more happy with this patch than a lot of other patches because it's not just basic stuff. Like, they are really trying to fundamentally change the game. Which, after 8 years, I think they need to do. These changes can go south very quickly, for sure. And I think that's going to be... we're going to have a very prolific PTB testing period where we're going to need to see exactly what kind of impact that really tangibly has. Because a lot of these things sound way more dramatic than they actually are. And I think people need to kind of calm down with a lot of it, but some things I can foresee, yeah, just making the game straight up harder. Mostly for killer. I would say most of the shit is just for the benefits of Survivor. Some parts like this, though, are a huge buff to me, in particular. In the way I play killer, this is great for me. I think overall, for me, killer is going to be even easier. I would say overall, for most people, killer is going to become harder. So, selfishly speaking, I'm happy because I get better killer queues, and also the game is easier for me, so. But I understand that it's going to be upsetting for a lot of people. Would I consider this similar level to EGC introduction type update? I think this is even more impactful than EGC. All EGC was meant to do was make people not hold the game hostage once it's over. It just forces them to leave, that's it. It looks cool, the effects are nice, aesthetically it's really pleasing, but it really is just, okay, leave. It's not like a huge impact on the game, you know what I mean? Thing you're petrified about is how this will affect the new player experience. I don't think they're really going to care. If anything, this will make... Nah. I think new players understand so little about the game, what's one or two additional mechanics. Like, you know what I mean? They're already not going to know 90% of the shit that's happening, so if there's another mechanic slapped on top of that, like, what? They're just going to go... They're just still not going to know what's going on. If anything, like, for the killers, it'll help people find other survivors, which I know a lot of people have trouble with when they're new. Yeah, exactly, Father. Do you think Gen should be slower at the start of the game? I still think the trial warm-up thing would be a cool idea, yeah. Just until the first chase starts. Wouldn't nerf the strongest killers, but it would buff the weakest killers. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. Seems like they tried to do that a long time ago, but then they gave up on it, so... I think it's good for new players. Plenty of new players join to play with a friend who's more experienced, and they just get tunneled as if they're obvious weak link. Yeah, that's fair. That particular scenario I can agree with. Owl's Effect comp DBD? I don't know. Or care. You're a casual player, but you never like tunneling. This update would benefit you as a player all around. Yeah, people that don't tunnel and are able to win without tunneling are pretty much just getting straight up buffed with this patch. Like, these are all notable buffs to killer. As long as you're not tunneling. Yeah, Roger, my point is, do you think they'll keep it enabled? Like, it might be something maybe they want to keep it enabled. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really care about comp, though. Unhooked survivors not being able to body block it anywhere is huge. Yep, I'm happy about that as well. Yeah, but my whole point is I would love to see the comp scene actually embrace this shit. Because every comp game is the same thing. Get an early hook and proxy camp them until they die. It's just so boring to watch. But also, half the roster is not good enough to win not doing that, so I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really care about comp. I think tunneling has to be nerfed before behavior can actually balance Survivor in a way that you don't have to tunnel, so you're happy about this? Yeah, I agree. Like I said, they've been throwing band-aids on top of band-aids, and this is them attempting surgery for the first time. So, this is a very, very, very big thing. Instead of just the slow chemotherapy drip, they're actually just trying to cut out the tumor now, which, like I said, it could kill the patient or it could save everything. So it's risky. It's a very risky play, which I respect. Yeah, Bob, I agree. Don't think they should nerf tunneling, just incentivize to go for more hooks. So the whole issue with that is, I mean, I brought this point up before, but you have to make the reward for not tunneling as good as tunneling. Otherwise, people will always just go to tunneling. Why would you ever pick the weaker option? And that's really hard to do because tunneling someone out is very impactful. So you need to give huge benefits to killer. Like massive, massive benefits to killer. And I don't even think these equate to just killing a survivor early. All these are nice and all, but killing a survivor is still the best thing a killer can do. I do think this will lower the amount of tunneling for sure. Because I'm a good guy. It's not even that I'm a good guy. I don't know. I don't find it interesting to just chase the same dude 3 times in a row. And then kill him and then they just lose. This is not fun to me. Can I patch notes? Yeah, sure. Here you go. Hope unique hooks give pop. They do kinda. Bonus damage for the next generator kick. Oh yeah, Volgan, what's that? Hey Darth Fang, what's up, man? Oh, like pop numbers, I see, yeah. If someone dies, no more gen regression or blockage. Who cares? Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying, never mind. I was about to say, who cares if someone dies? Like, that's a huge deal. How exactly do you reward it? Like, if killer gets all survivors hooked once, they get some kind of buff? I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out for 7 years now. I don't know. Because of the asymmetric nature of the game, killing a player is always going to be the best thing you can do. It's so hard to make something that's equal to that, you know what I mean? How about after every unique hook, after the first generate progression is reduced by 10 or 15% for a certain amount of time? I mean, balance-wise, that's probably fine, but you also got to consider the fun aspect of just making people sit on gens longer. That's just not fun either. It's so hard to fix, man. Like, I don't envy the devs trying to fix this problem. It's very difficult. I don't think I could do it. How long till Trapper becomes Dash Slop? Pretty soon, I guess. So I post on Reddit about someone freaking out because he thinks survivors are going to sacrifice someone to get a free 3 out. I mean, you need to just not listen to those people. They're very stupid and don't understand how the game works. I don't mean to be mean, but if someone actually thinks it's going to be a meta strat to have one of your teammates die on purpose so the killer can't regress gens anymore, holy fuck, they do not understand how the game works at all. It's just... yeah, I just ignore those people. There's going to be people like that that don't understand the game complaining. Just ignore them. It's the point not to make tunneling bad, but to show the game's supposed to be played without tunneling. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm feeling more optimistic about this patch than I think most people. Doing that would be funny, though. It would be funny for the killer. This is a numbers kind of patch, because without the numbers, we can't tell if it's impactful or not. I agree, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's only so much we can speculate on this. Wouldn't it be a good start when there's 1 gen left, though? When there's 1 gen left, sure. But like I said, I think this whole system should not work when there's only 1 gen left. Considering behavior is shifting more and more towards the 2K standard, why do you think they're implementing these changes now as opposed to after the MMR rework in February? I think they always plan to. They're just very slow. I think it's literally as simple as that. They're just very slow at doing things. I think this was probably planned for a year now at this point. They just... yeah, very slow. Why do they nerf the effect on who you play and not how the game is going, similar to 2v8? Extra and less gen repair speed? Well, because the killer choice, I think, is far more impactful than, you know, a 1 or 2% buff or nerf to gen speeds. Like, I think they're doing the right thing, addressing these killers and how the effect should be less than there. I think what they're doing is fine. They suck as developers? I don't know. They made a very successful, fun game, but I'm just saying they're slow. They're very slow at doing stuff. You said comp players have told you the strat, if tunneling perks could be on everyone, that this killers would start to tunnel 2 people by going A and B. Isn't that kind of what this does, depending on the speed of the bonus of death? Yeah, I mean, this does incentivize doing A and B. If you still want to tunnel, you should be juggling people, which actually, in my opinion, is stronger than tunneling 1 person, depending on the survivor. If it's a weak link, then obviously it's better to tunnel that 1 person, but if you got a bunch of good players, doing A and B is much better, because in public games, you can run off the record and Decisive Strike and Dead Hard and have 5 layers of protection if you're getting tunneled. So yeah, it's scarier to do that in public games. This a no tunnel incentive? Yep. I'm happy with all these changes. Lamau, Slay, killers, stay mad. Okay. Oh, wait, you said period. It looks like Slay, it's fine. All right, we'll circle back to this. Hey, Jojo, you too. We'll circle back to this. Elusive, which you get off of the hook now. They're gonna slap this on a perk or a killer at some point too. How much you want to bet a new survivor coming out has elusive tied to one of their perks? They always do this. This just gives you lucky break and off the record. This is fine. I don't really mind this. I think getting this when you get unhooked is completely okay. Anything to help the killer find not you, but the person that did the unhooking. I think that's good. Tomes, don't care. The shape. They're adding elusive to old perks? Oh. Integrate this in the relevant existing perks down the road to make the descriptions more streamlined. Yeah, but no perk does this. I don't understand what this means. How are they integrating this into relevant perks? There is no perk in the game that does this. Yeah, there are 2 perks when combined that does this. Actually, does OTR stop blood loss? I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't think it does. They said they'll change perks to give this as a new effect. So they're going to buff those perks? Low profile by Ada gives you elusive? Oh, you might be right. I think, yeah, nobody runs that perk, but yeah, I think you might be right. Let me see. Suppresses your grunts of pain and creation of pools of blood and scratch marks. You're right, low profile. I think that's the one perk in the game that actually does all of those things. So I guess they might just update Ada's perk to say gives you elusive. It doesn't give aura suppression? Where is... Oh, fuck, you're right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell this means. I guess we'll see. I think the fact that tunneling someone out and that makes gens faster is a bit dumb. I agree it's a bit dumb if there is only 1 or 2 gens remaining. I don't think it's a bit dumb if you get your first kill at 4 gens. I think it's almost impossible for survivors to win there, so giving them a slight bone is fine. But like I said, I think there needs to be a generator minimum for that shit to work. Or maximum. Deb said they understand why killers slug for pressure, yet they're killing slugging altogether. Well, how are they killing slugging altogether? What do you mean? They're not killing slugging altogether, man. Slugging will still be an extremely good thing to do. Just don't slug them for a minute and a half. It's not that crazy. 90 seconds is a long fucking time, dude. They get unbreakable and tenacity? No, they do not. Unbreakable makes you recover 35% faster, and you can recover as soon as the bar is full, so that doesn't happen. Tenacity lets you crawl much faster right at the start, which doesn't happen. None of the things you were saying are true. You'll be fine. Slugging will still be very, very strong given the right scenario. This will just disincentivize people slugging people to death. Slugging is not a good thing to do anymore. What are you saying? How so? How if I see 2 people on a generator, I chainsaw them first guy, down him. I go chase the other guy for 30 seconds, down him, pick him up, hook him. 15 seconds later, it's been 45 seconds. Then I go and hook the other guy. What? How has any of that changed? Yeah, honestly, they're going to get picked up by a teammate before any of this shit actually matters. That is another good point. This part is, like, mostly nothing. The only line I might disagree with is here, but for the most part, this is not... People saying slugging is dead, I'm guessing just don't understand the correct times to slug or something. The whole point is slugging for pressure at the right time. When people are grouped up, when you know you don't have time to hook because a gen's going to pop. And, like, there are plenty of times for slugging that are very smart, and those are still going to be very smart. Now, when someone is slugged and you can't find them, they have a more realistic chance to escape. Again, not so much because you're not going to get that full movement speed for like 30 to 40 seconds. So it doesn't really matter. This is mostly going to be the same thing. Yeah, it just punishes people that are trying to slug people to death. which I think you should be punished for. They can sit on gens instead of picking the teammate up on the ground for because they know after 90 seconds they can get up. You know what's better than that? Having a teammate that can sit on the gen with you because you didn't leave them on the ground for 90 seconds. Hey, Patrick, you know, you don't get the movement speed for a while. They're going to be crawling at the same speed for almost their entire time being slugged. They're not really going to be crawling that far. The only difference is they will be able to recover at the same time, which, like I said, this is the only part I don't agree with. You're talking about the speed? Yeah, but the speed is not relevant for most of their time, so they're still moving at normal speed most of the time. Like I said, this is the only part I don't agree with. Oh, yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, this shit is the one I don't like. You should have a choice between slugging, or you should have a choice between recovering or crawling. Even when I made my video, this is the one part I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't like this part at all. Why can't they just nerf the strong killers and buff the weak killers instead of wasting dev time with this shit? I mean, that's sort of just a forehead answer. Let's just fix 17 killers next patch. I should say you ain't slugging anybody anymore? Okay, well then down someone under a pallet and pick them up immediately and then have them save against you. I don't know what to tell you, man. Why would you leave a generator and pick up a survivor who's getting slugged if he can just pick himself up? Because he has to be slugged for 1.5 minutes, dude. It would be so much more efficient if you just picked the survivor up and then both did the generator. Like, I don't know how I can explain how the math works, man. That guy doing another generator, that guy can just do a fucking generator in 90 seconds. Like, but you have a choice. You should press a button to get up. Next clip shows it. Yeah, after 90 seconds of being slugged. That is such a long time. How are people not understanding that that is 1.5 minutes of someone just bleeding out on the ground? This is not going to affect 9 out of 10 instances of slugging. Probably even more than that. 90 seconds is fucking massive. It'll never, ever be more worth it to just say, hey, let's let this teammate rot on the ground for 90 seconds. It'll never be worth it. Will you not automatically pick yourself up rather than doing it when you want to? No, you click a button. Is this it? You click a button like that. You're checking out PoE 2 this week? Yes. Will it be the same for plot twist? Someone brought that up earlier. If you want to slug yourself for 90 seconds at the start of the match to give yourself unlimited unbreakable for the rest of the match and risk getting bled out, okay, sure, whatever, fine. That's still such a stupid idea. The point of the message was slugging is not pressure anymore. I just completely disagree. Slugging will still offer immensely good pressure when done at the right time. I completely disagree. Again, I will sympathize a bit, though, and say this is probably the only line that shouldn't make it. This is... I don't agree with that. I think you should choose between recovering or crawling. So, if I had to agree with you on one part, it would be this is too much, and I think this should not go live. Everything else is fine and won't impact 99% of matches. Slugging for more than 20-30 seconds is often a mistake in the first place. Depends. There were certain, like, singularity builds where you would basically slug everyone to death on purpose. So, not all the time. When you're slugged for over 90 seconds, usually the killer just being an ass. Usually, yeah. Yeah, Charlotte, I agree. Makes it too easy to hide and recover. Yeah, that part I think is too much. 90 seconds for a chase, back to pick up in order to get any slugging value, and that's it if you slug one person. Yeah, this shit doesn't matter at all. This is not going to matter in almost all of your games, unless you're literally slugging everyone to death, at which point I think you deserve to be kind of punished for that, because holy fuck, that is the most miserable thing you can do. Does Myers update worry you for Skull Merchant rework? Not really. We'll get to that in a minute. This is really good macro knowledge to know when to slug right now. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't slug properly. A lot of people think slugging is just some magical cheat where they're like, all right, I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to start slugging and I'm going to win. It's like, that doesn't do anything. If you just down a guy and slug them when it's not beneficial to do so, you're wasting a hook state. It's just a giant waste. So I think most people don't know how to slug properly or when the correct time is to do it. Master, I have to go out and slug just this once. I'm going into my forbidden vault of powers. People are mad they didn't compensate twins. Fuck the twins. I mean, that does suck for like the 3 twins players, but yeah. No, you do have an option to 99 or to pick yourself up after the minute and a half. Yeah, exactly. You still have to be smart with all of those less than reputable strats. You still can't do it. Like for tunneling, if you tunnel a good player, you're just going to lose. If you camp at the wrong time when 3 gens are being worked on and they don't waste time coming to save, you're going to lose. If you slug when it's not done for pressure and people are all nearby, you're going to lose. Like you got to do all these underhanded tactics at the right time or it's worse than just playing like a heckin' wholesome 12 hook guy. If you do anything with no thought, you lose. I mean, fair, yeah. Even with twins, you don't slug for 90 seconds? I've been in some twins games where I've been slugged for 90 seconds or more. The killers most likely to do that are Singularity, Twins, Oni to some extent, but they're kind of mitigating that a little bit with rewarding him with the blood on hook. But yeah, for the most part, it's fine. Twins are gonna get fucked by this? Yeah, I think all of us are like, oh no, not the twins. Oh no, twins are gonna be worse. Darn, well, what are you gonna do? It is what it is. Alright, let's go over dash slot Myers. Yeah, I am worried about... I feel like Sadako is getting mega fucked over by this entire patch. Slugging is worse with her. Getting someone out with Condemned is worse than her. Like, she's getting so massively nerfed. Sadako is getting fucking deleted by this patch. Have I talked to Pixel Butch yet? I tried to, but he wasn't able to respond. I tried calling him on Discord. Why? Because the whole anti-tunneling thing. If you get a kill like before 6 hooks and you get a Condemn, which you're probably not going to have a lot of hooks if you're going for Condemns, then Sadako just gets super fucked. So yeah, that's not good for her. Okay, so Myers is completely fucking different now. You no longer tier up, you have toggleable... Basically, you have toggleable tier 1 and tier 3. Or no, you have toggleable tier 1 and tier 3 and you can activate tier 3. Which is kind of cool. So tier 1, Stalker mode is just tier 1 Myers. This is just no difference, it's just straight up tier 1 Myers. Pursuer mode is kind of a weird, like, mix of tier 3 and tier 2. You have normal movement speed, you have a mix of the 16 from tier 2 and the 32 from tier 3, so you have 24 right in the middle. You have increased vault speed, which you always did in tier 2. A lot of people didn't really know that, but you did actually vault faster in tier 2 Myers. How jank the dash is going to look? It's literally just pig ambush look. It's just a slower pig ambush. It's the laziest thing they could have done, but whatever, fuck it. Bonuses to lunge... Oh, from the survivor point of view. Dude, I just want to see, like... just fucking T-poses. Just asserts dominance of the T-pose. That'd be amazing. All right, anyway. So, yeah, Pursuer mode is kind of like a weird mix of tier 2 and tier 3. This is new, though. A bonus to lunge range. I don't believe you got a longer lunge range in tier 2. You break pallets fast, you get enduring... You basically get brutal strength and enduring, and you can't stalk. So that's actually what I wanted. I wanted Myers to, like, his strength and chase to be, like, Because what is Myers? He's like a relentless, unstoppable force, right? So it would make sense when he's in tier 3. You would give him like enduring and brutal strength, and like he would just like go through shit. Like maybe he would, you know how Singularity, when he's in his overdrive or whatever mode, he gets slowed down massively by the PAL, but he doesn't get stunned. I thought he would have something like that because he's like, holy fuck, he's a relentless force of evil, like slowly approaching you. So I thought that's what they should do, and still think that's what they should do. Giving him a dash is not thematic, like, at all. When does Myers do a fucking dash, ever? Like, does that ever happen in any of the movies? I think his whole thing is he slowly walks towards people. I think they should have really emphasized the relentless nature of him, that you can never keep him down. You shoot him, he just doesn't fucking die. He just keeps going. But he doesn't sprint ever. This never happens. So I think thematically this is a huge fail. Anyway, are the guy that likes dash killers? Yeah, no, I mean, this will be more fun, especially to play, than current Myers, but it's lazy. I can admit it's lazy as fuck. He drives a car in Halloween 2. I don't think we could give him a car. Once the stock meter is full, Evil Incarnate can be triggered at will, granting the following effects. Survivors no longer become exposed, so that's a huge change. You can't just M1 down people. You have to down people with your ambush. 4.6 movement speed, 40 meter terror radius, and increased vault speed even again. So it's probably just going to be like current tier 3 Myers. But then he gets Slaughtering Strike. Wait. Slaughtering Strike. Why am I still doing the manual echo when I'm... Okay. He gets Slaughtering Strike, which is basically Pig Ambush. But it's better. Well, it's mixed. It's slower. Like, that's slower than a Pig Ambush, right? This. I don't know, is it? I feel like it's slightly slower. Faster? I don't think that's faster. Less wind up? No, that's more wind up. Pig's ambush charge is very quick now. This is 100% faster? I don't think he is. But he doesn't have to crouch. I guess that's true too. It probably ends up being about the same thing. It's very... all I can say from just looking at this, it's very similar to ambush speed. That mode drains fast. Yeah, look at that. Let's see. Yeah, that does seem a bit shorter than regular tier 3. That's maybe, what, like 30 seconds? Think he lets out a ferocious roar before Slaughter Strike? I hope he just plays the stun sound. They just reuse it. So he just goes, "Arr!" That just goes forward. Oh, that would be cinema. Holy shit, please do that. Range seems ridiculous to you? I mean, not really. That's just like a Pig Ambush. It's not unheard of at all. But this is... Yeah, this just seems like a better Pig Ambush. Even if the movement is slightly slower, you don't have to crouch to start it. And it one-shots. It's just straight up one-shots. So that is massive. It's not going to work with Ku. This is a special attack. What's his turn radius? That is a good point. What is his turn radius? You can tell he's not like... You're right. Is this a new loop? I can't tell. Maybe? Seems like just a shitty junk filler, but you're right. His turning is actually less. So is this like a Chucky kind of thing then? If that Dwight went right, was he safe? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. We're going to have to test it. It's worse Billy Sprint. That seems like more turning than Billy Sprint. Obviously past the initial sensitivity window. That definitely seems like more turning. That's definitely more turning, right? Yeah, you can see like he's able to keep going more and more, but then he stops his turns. This is not less turning. There is no way. It's definitely limited. Like, the amount that you can turn is limited, but there's no way you're saying it's as bad as Billy. Billy cannot turn that much without, like, double boots. Probably just hug tech her on shit like Chucky can. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know what the collision's gonna be like. But the fact that this not only one-shots, but it also breaks pallets too, so even if you pre-drop, you basically have to play for the stun and hope there's not bad ping. because then you're risking the down. I mean, it's a bit slower than like a Billy Chainsaw, so you can probably pretty reliably get this done, as long as ping is not terrible. But it breaking pallets, but then he's also, when he's in this mode, he's more resistant to stun, so he bounces off the pallet and the gift so we can collide. Let's see. A little bit, yeah. It one-shots the guy because he's injured? No, it one-shots just always. They're knocked into the dying state. You can probably spam strafes to slow down. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to have... Do you think it has like a wind-up animation so you can like bait it or something? Because like Oni goes... So like you can bait people into dropping it, but I don't know if Myers is going to make any sound when he's doing this. Like, does it just start randomly? I don't know. The animation from the survivor side is going to be very important. Because if there's no tell... Yeah, that's going to be risky. Well, no, if there's no tell, it's harder to bait, actually. When you spam strafe and Oni when you're dashing, you slow down. Oh, you're saying, like, can you, like, manually control the speed like you can with Oni? Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell just from this GIF. Maybe. Regardless, though, yeah, I mean, this is obviously a buff to Myers. Like, there's no way to interpret this as anything but a buff, right? You also can stalk people forever, too, now. Pre-drop city. Yeah, but even if you pre-drop, you can just kind of like demo dash break it. I mean, it'll save you for a bit, but it depends how quick he breaks the pallet. If he's got like a faster pallet break, then even pre-dropping is not going to be like super good in the long term. Yeah, I mean, it's better than dying, sure, but the map's going to get used up really fast. What about the achievement? I don't know what they're going to do with the achievement. They might change it. You can see the knife coming up on the charge. Oh, yeah, it is. It's like raising up more. Yeah, it is. It is raising up more. You're right. Looks like a ton of fun. I mean, if of course it's going to be more fun. Myers was just not interesting at all to play as or against. This is at least more interesting, but it's still lazy as shit. Like, this is not thematic at all. This is just super fucking lazy. Why'd they show this on an injured survivor? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They said dying state, so. I really want to see the pallet break, because if the pallet break is very fast too, like Barb's glasses tier, then his ability to make a map dead pretty quick will be nice as well. Lazy, but without a doubt a buff to a very weak killer, so I'm fine with it. I wouldn't say I'm happy with it. It's definitely lazy, but it's fine. Low pro Myers. Oh, I should give him a low pro add-on. Oh, shit. I think removing the limited stock pull is fine. They seem to have reverted the buffs to distant stalking, though, which is kind of a shame. I like that. I thought that was thematic. This seems like a Giga tier 3 lunge, but you need to charge it. I don't know why this isn't thematic. I mean, the longer lunge wasn't really thematic either. None of that was thematic. We just sort of accepted it. Yeah, we'll see, Digna. I mean, it's fine. I'm not, like, upset about this change or anything. It's whatever. Lazy, but whatever. Slaughtering Strike makes for a high-threat offensive attack, offering instant down opportunity with an extended lunge is particularly effective in loops and for ripping through pallets quickly. Understanding his kit has changed quite a lot. Understanding his kit has changed quite a lot. We've done a pass on nearly all of his add-ons. Understanding his kit has changed quite a lot? What does this mean? Does this mean after 8 years they understand how Myers works? Very complicated killer. Okay. They're saying, like, interpreting all this new stuff is a lot. Okay. Well, I just read that in the most bad faith way possible. Reworking many of them to offer unique effects. In particular, for those who prefers old playstyle, Fragrant Tough to Hair will change Evil Incarnate to function like old Myers, offering an expose effect and no Slaughtering Strike. So it's probably going to give you Infinite Tier 3 again, except you can't do the lunge, which will probably be shit in comparison now. I think being able to actually have anti-loop with Myers is going to be much stronger than just permanent Tier 3. We'll see, though. It's fine. Clown XDD. Clown was basically reverted. Good, fuck him. All that headache for nothing. All that time spending changing Clown. I playing the new Pee-wee 2 season? Yeah, I'm planning on it. Speaking of which, can I install that update yet? Quick check. Nope, no update queued. But sponsored. Yeah, so it basically just seems like they just revert a clown. You can start installing in 25 minutes. It's usually 2 hours beforehand, yeah. Thanks. Patch notes are here. Here you go. I'm assuming they're just pushing it back to what, 2 seconds? Did it restart Steam? No, but it's usually not until 2 hours beforehand. So yeah, that's probably going to go 2 seconds, maybe 1.5 or something. They're making it 1.5. That's a reasonable assumption too. Increase how long the after-piece tonics hindered effect lingers after leaving smoke, so they just reverted that change. I think this should be mostly fine. I think, I don't know. I don't know what to do with Clown. He needs to just be reworked. There's no way to make Clown enjoyable. It's impossible. Cannot be done. They said it'll be balanced between the old and the new values. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, 1.5. And then I'm sure hindered will be kind of right in the middle as well. I mean, that's fine, whatever. Anything to make Clown less brainless is a good thing. Current Clown is one of the most brainless things, like right above Old Legion, in my opinion. What? What is wrong with you? What? Boy's on crack. 99% of people won't notice a difference? Probably not. Unknown. I really like the changes to Unknown. I think these are really good. They increase the additional time added to weaken when injured, which is, I think, perfect.
Can wait for 2034 when they turn Jason Voorhees into Deathlock.
Saxophonist, thank you for the 7 months, man. Me too. Very excited. Yeah, this is a great change. Honestly, the main reason I don't like Unknown is because he is so punishing. If you miss a single shot, you're just fucked. Like, you need to be perfect every time you play Unknown. He has no wiggle room. You have like a second to aim and shoot before it expires, so he was very frustrating to play, in my opinion. I think this is a great change. Even if it's only like an additional like 2 or 3 seconds, just getting a slightly better time to get in position to make your shot, I think this is good. Additional time added to weaken when injured. Oh, wait, shit. Oh, you're right. Fuck. I did misread that. Oh, that doesn't really matter. I mean, it still helps in some regard. It doesn't help with my primary problem, but it still helps. It's still good. But yeah, no, it should be from the actual initial infection. That's when it's frustrating. Like, this still does help for the like the actual dying state hit for sure. But yeah, it needs to the initial infection needs to last longer, or it needs to take longer to cure by looking at the Unknown, or have a shorter cooldown between shots. Any of these options are fine, but right now it's too punishing to play the Unknown. So, increase movement speed after teleporting. That's nice. Wait, is it increased movement speed recovery time or recovery speed? Is it increasing the rate at which you regain movement speed or increasing the time in which you do? I can't tell. I think this is a buff, right? I think this is just supposed to be a buff. And they probably nerfed the add-on to compensate. And then increase camera vertical range. I don't know why Unknown can't look straight up. That's good. Overall, I mean, this is fine. I think Unknown needed to be buffed, and he got buffed, not a single nerf. This is all just good. Even if this is not exactly what I wanted it to be, it's still just good. So, I'm fine with that. Unknown's largely considered to be fun to play as and against. I agree. We want to preserve that while adapting to the current state of gameplay. We buffed the UVX slightly, while also taking what we learned from the animatronic to allow for orbitals, improving UVX aiming, and making for even more fun gameplay. No surprise that blurry photos, the most used add-on. That's the teleport one, right? Given the importance of speed recovery, to create an opportunity for more add-on experimentation, we converted a portion of his add-on base kit into the standard behavior thing. Okay, that's fine. Count Dankula, also known as Vecula or Drachna. Vampire form was, I don't know, nerfed or buffed. Side graded? Probably nerfed? It depends how much this is. This is probably a nerf. Because that's a buff, but then this is pretty impactful. It's not like a huge nerf or anything. It's very minor. But it is definitely a nerf. Which is weird because the vampire form at high level was not his strongest form. It was wolf form. So... I think this change is weird too. Like, shouldn't this line be slightly increased slowdown after canceling Hellfire? It should not be after casting Hellfire. It should be for people that are just doing zoning with it. Like, this doesn't make any sense. If people are actually shooting their Hellfire, why do you need more cooldown after that? They're actually using their power. They're not zoning with it for free, so that doesn't make any sense. Again, it's not a huge change. I think he's still fine. But it is definitely a bit of a nerf. Slowing after Hellfire is worse because it encourages people leaving loops, making Wolf bad even better and Vampire worse. I guess. For Wolf form, the Pounce attack charge time was increased and the Centaur Orb spawn time was increased. So that's just a straight nerf to Wolf form. Bat form, slight buff. So buff, slight nerf, notable nerf. So overall, slight nerf to Vecna. Why do I keep doing that? To Drachna. Somehow Vecna is not worse. Yeah, slight nerf to Dracula. He's still fine. He's still probably 5th or 6th best killer. He's not gonna be struggling anytime soon. Swap slop all the same. True. I think we like to call it mage slop here, but that's fine. Yeah, the range on Hellfire doesn't really matter at all. The John Ghoul. When grabbing a survivor on the other side of a vault with Kagune Leap, the survivor is released at the start of the vault instead of at the end. This is basically just to fix kidnap tech from what I can understand, right? Because that shit was fucking stupid and obviously should not have been like that. Fuck the Ghoul? Yeah. Medium update. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously huge because the kidnap tech was fucking stupid. I don't know why that was a thing, and they said it was on purpose. They actually went on record and said that it was supposed to happen, so that was crazy shit. I like this change for Oni. Hooking a survivor now spawns more blood orbs. That's good. I think giving Oni more of a reason to not just slug everyone to death is nice, and especially with the slugging nerfs and stuff like that, I think that's cool. I feel like that's not going to fix the problem of people just giving up when facing Ghoul and actually how to fix it. Yeah, I mean, if anything, I learned from this community, they don't care if the things actually get fixed. They'll still hate it. Like, I would say half the player base still loathes Skull Merchant, even though she literally doesn't have a power. She doesn't do anything. But people still hate Skull Merchant. So, you're right. I think people don't pay attention to these notes, and they just hold on to their previous biases. So, people are going to still DC against Ghoul the exact same way. It's not going to really change anything. This is good though. I like this. Good change. Updated various perks. Next Tuesday PTB. That's good. That's good. Honestly, I thought they were gonna push the PTB even further away because of 2v8 being extended. Got people insulting you because you won 4K on Skull Merchant. Well, maybe you should have lost like the good Lord intended. Can they please revert the slugging and tunneling changes? Again, I really don't think the slugging changes are a huge deal. There's one line that I don't agree with that I think is too much. Everything else is whatever. It's not going to matter most of the time. This too much. This, though, this shit's going to... This is going to change some shit up. This is the main talking point of the whole patch right here. This is a absolutely massive thing. For better or for worse, it is huge, huge shit. It's a huge line. I agree. That should not go left. The tunnel thing is great. It's great if you're a survivor. It's great if you're a survivor and a non-tunneling killer, but even if you're a non-tunneling killer, there are still aspects of it that will still punish you. Already have a close game with one gen left and you hook your 8th and 9th hook and the same survive and lost, because that's what I'm saying. This whole disincentivizing system should not work when there's like 1 or 2 gens left. This should only be for those scenarios where the killer is like, fucking Momo going for 62 million wins in a row and he's getting his first kill at 4 gens up. then sure, give them some of these benefits because holy fuck, they have no chance anyway. At least let them pretend they have a chance. But yeah, if you're you're having a close game and you're down to like 1 gen, you kind of have to kill someone at that point. Like, this is so close to being not a big deal at all. If they just add a little incentive, just a little star that just, you know what, here, let's fix this. Here. Let's do this. Here we go. These features disable when there are 2 or less generators remaining. We fixed it! Patch notes are now better. As literally all they have to do is just add this line. And then we're fine. Now it still punishes killers that are playing needlessly sweaty and killing people at 4 or 5 gens, but also it doesn't punish killers who actually need to get a kill when they're about to lose. So that's it. Just one line fixes so much drama. And you know what? They probably will do that. I'm very willing to bet that they will add a caveat like this or something. It's not really hard to add. I think people will see that that's a pretty solid idea. So just add this and I think we'll be okay. So I'm not going to freak out about this yet. Not until it hits live unchanged. Because I do legitimately think they will add something like this. So freaking out about it before... It's not even on PTB yet. Like, we're freaking out about the patch notes to a pre-patch to a patch. Like, there's so many levels of shit they're going to go through with this before they actually add it. So I don't think they're going to just add it just like this. Watching it live with no changes. I would be very surprised because I would imagine most consultants are telling them, no, don't do this. This is a terrible idea. So that's the thing, though. The terrible idea becomes a great idea when you add a caveat like this. Once we account for games where the killer actually has to tunnel, then it's fine. And you could go, oh, but survivors can 99 4 gens and then just do this and then abuse the system and die on purpose and just... No one's going to do that. That's not going to be an issue. How much do they listen to the consultants? Anyone's know? From what I've heard, not enough. I know several consultants that are very frustrated that their input is not... I talked to a lot of consultants that were like, dude, we told them to not do this with Clown, and they fucking did it with Clown. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, this has the potential to be pretty cool. Or pretty fool. Hi, buddy. Do you want to dance with me? Buddy will now dance to the Dead by Daylight theme. Alright. Buddy, what do you think of this patch? He just lets me do with any... Like, he's just like a... He just has ragdoll physics. I can just do what I want. He just... he just sits here. I've toyed with you enough. You can leave. Great guy, little monkey. Overall, it will come down to how much the haste and damage bonus is for spreading hooks. Yes, that is a very, very important factor. We need to see the numbers with the incentives, because the numbers for the incentives might be enough to come close to equaling out the pressure from killing a survivor. It probably still won't actually reach that, but it might come a bit closer to that. So it'll make it more of a feasible thing to do. Do we have a hook counter because of these changes? Yeah, I think so. I don't know why killers can't see the hooks. I think their initial defense was they don't want killers to tunnel out, but they're remembering anyway. If a killer's going out of their way to tunnel people, they're going to remember who they hooked. If anything, it just punishes people that are trying to not tunnel and accidentally tunnel someone, so I don't know. Buffing gen cakes is kind of odd. A lot of killers don't even do that. Sure, but it doesn't hurt. Behavior knows how stupid the average killer is, probably. Surely people who want a tunnel can't count to 4. You guys are toxic. Actually tunneling because you can't tell the 4 identical survivors apart is going to be annoying. You'll know because you get a symbol on your UI that says the person that you're chasing was the last guy hooked. You're never going to accidentally tunnel somebody. Do you? Yeah, right here. Add a unique effect to the killer hook state UI that indicates the last survivor they hooked. You're not going to accidentally tunnel people. Take a flat repair speed debuff. Yeah, but that's also like... Survivors don't want to see a red bar. Red bar equals bad. What if a pig trap kills someone? Yeah, pig, Sadako, any of these killers that have like these alternate kill conditions are gonna kind of be indirectly nerfed by that. So pig nerfed. As is tradition. Pig was nerfed. Let's see what Reddit is saying about this. Surely they're being hinged. Fuck your C and B tier killers now. Yeah, I mean, fair. This is actually a fair criticism. I can't even make fun of Reddit here. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think this shit is concerning if they don't add a generator caveat. Reddit's cooking. Okay, that's pretty good. Accurate. Yeah, I'll go there, Raj. I'll go there. I'm just checking. Like, Reddit's got some good memes, man. It's got some good shit. That's funny as fuck. He's tunneling distance and Jesus. This thing will gonna be hell on killers like on Royal Pig and Pyramid who get punished for getting a kill without the power. I mean, yeah, I agree. Reddit is not being embarrassing right now. They're actually bringing up completely fair points. I do agree with this as well. 9.2 is going to make it or break it in terms of balance. It's a very, very impactful patch for sure. It's part of the next update. If one survivor dies before 6 hook states, the survivor's get a rocket launcher. So, dude, I feel like people shit on Reddit too much. People, like, make fun of the social media for this game. It's not usually Reddit that's cringe. It's usually, like, Twitter. It's, like, Twitter, the Steam forums, and the DBD forums. Reddit usually is mostly just saying dumb, like, silly meme shit. But let's see. Let's go to the actual patch notes comments. TikTok comments are bad. Yeah, I would say Reddit is legitimately the most sane of all of the social media for DBD, which is crazy. I don't know. I'm a Reddit defender. I think Reddit is mostly fine. Oh yeah, no. I'm not saying go to like the DBD killer subreddit. That shit, if I went to, we're about to see the most unhinged shit on the planet. I don't even want to go there to protect people's identities. But like the actual just plain DBD Reddit, it's fine. That's what you linked? Oh god. I don't know if I want to go there. Let's see how people are responding to this shit. Correct. This is the correct opinion to have. Holy fuck, this is a lot. Don't know what to think until I try it. See, dude, Reddit is actually reasonable. That is like the most, it's the top upvoted comment, and it's the most reasonable opinion that you can have for this whole patch. That is exactly what everybody should be thinking. Holy fuck, this is a lot. Let's see what happens. It's the DBD killer Reddit. All right, maybe we'll dip our toes in there a little bit. Hey, Cosmic, thanks for the 5 months. Only got a buff? He got kind of side graded. Slugging's a bit scarier, but also gets rewarded for hooking more, so kind of a side grade. They mean Myers another dash killer? Yeah. That's fair. It's a fair criticism. Pig did in fact get nerfed. Also fair. With these changes, you have to show how many hook state survivors have. I agree completely. I think there's no reason to not do that anymore. Is this all pretty sane shit? Yeah, I'm not seeing the crazy complaints that you would think. These are all pretty rational thoughts. Yeah, I agree. This is overkill. Yeah. All right, let's go. Well, what is the killer subreddit again? I think it's Dead by Daylight Killers. All right. Surely there should be more biased, unhinged takes here. Make corrupt intervention base kit if they're trying to slow mid-game by making tunneling harder, punish and shoot slowly. I mean, I don't really hate that. Not necessarily corrupt intervention, but like the trial warm-up thing, where the gens go slower until a chase starts. I think that would be okay. If Pig gets an RBT kill before 6-6, does that mean she can't reguess gens anymore? Yeah, but they're not really meant to... Yeah, exactly what this guy said. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that pigs or reverse bear traps are not really meant to kill people. Like, that's not what they're designed for. They are just meant to slow down the game. Doesn't it say back-to-back hooks? See if this is not affecting Roy or Pig. What if that person was the last one hooked, though? What if you downed them, put a trap on their head, and hooked them, and then they were the last one hooked? I feel like it still might trigger. They're not being hooked? Yeah, but it just said sacrifice or killed. It didn't say hooked. So I think it would still happen. Yeah, exactly, Owen. It does not say hooked. So this guy's got it right. They're not really meant to kill, but it still does indirectly nerf for a little bit. It's not really going to matter much, but it still is technically a nerf to Pig. But not that much. This update may kill off half the killers in the game. Are they ever going to bother changing pre-running with such a large amount of M1 killers with zero map mobility already struggled with? Absolutely catch up to this driver costing 20 seconds not even being in a chase. I mean, that's not really related to anything in patch. That's just annoying in general for killers that have no mobility, but I think they're saying that the only way these killers can win is by, like, tunneling and stuff like that. So if they make it harder, then... Because, like, it is fair. Like, getting the aura reading when you get, like, a unique hook or, a non-consecutive hook is great. But if you're Trapper, what are you going to do with that aura? If they're 50 meters away, what are you going to just spend half the game walking there? Like, it's not going to do anything for you, so... How do you nerf pre-running? You make maps smaller. That's basically it. Fair criticism, yes. What the fuck, dude? They're not even being unreasonable here. I'm disappointed. I expected more of a crash out from everybody. These are all just also, like, reasonable tanks. This is exactly what I think, too. This is only one post? I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, this is... Check Twitter if I want crash outs. I am not going to browse Twitter live. I'm going to go ahead and just not do that. Seems like a terrible idea. There's like 20 on quitting this post-games already? Yeah. Steam community? Oh, God. I mean, we can go to the Steam forums. Hold on. The Steam forums, or no, the community forums are probably my favorite place on the internet. No, not even then. People are really only freaking out about the things that do actually matter, so I'm disappointed. People are just being overall responsible about this. Will BBQ be changed? I don't know. Good question. Most interesting part, we'll see the shift in Survivor perks since OTR and DS will be kind of useless now. Yep. Very curious to see what the hell they're going to do there. Wait, no, I'm not doing that. Stop that. Overall, though, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't think that a lot of this stuff is going to go live exactly the way it says it is going to be. And I think freaking out about it is a little premature. That Rain hard mode opinions, it's going to be just full of cheaters. I don't know. Do you think Survive with Friends will now intentionally make sacrificial lambs to run gens faster? The only thing I can think of is if there's like one gen left or something, and they want to prevent the killer from repeatedly kicking gens into 3 gen. Or something. That's probably the only time that will be like an intentional play, and that's very easily fixed by just making it so there's a maximum gens remaining before that shit actually happens, or it goes away once there's less than 2, you know. Killers can slug that person to sort of play around it. That's kind of I guess. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. That is a little XDD. Gen kick limits don't need to be limited. I am fine with the gen kick limits. I find it actually very difficult to block a generator nowadays, unless you're running like straight up 4 regression perks, at which point maybe change your build a bit. We're going to get punished for tunneling people out with racist names now. I mean, you can still do it. It's all about the love of the game at that point. Maybe one-hooked people might take chases and go to death hook before they let zero-hook people get hooked. Are you saying to deny the killer any of the bonuses he gets from the unique hooks? Maybe. It's still riskier to let that guy immediately go to death hook, you know? Will it disable ruin? Huh. I don't know. That's a good question. Ruin new tunnel meta? Do you think it would still work? I mean, they still just break room, but maybe. Bye, Toxic. It will Napoleemia. It's just going to be like current, fragrant, tough to hair. Ring in shoulder to get yourself tunneled out. Dude, that's the thing. I think people are actually going to try these strats. They're going to try to like abuse it. They're going to have like a gig of Survive with Friends. Or like, all right, Timmy, let's get you out of the mag as quickly as possible so the killer can't use his regression perks. And then you just lose anyway because it's a 3v1. It's just like... I feel like people are going to throw games. But yeah, when there's like 1 gen left or 1 or 2 maybe even, that shit's going to be annoying. Can't wait for base kit barbecue and chili. It's going to be so helpful on Trapper. I mean, to be fair, they just said the oral reading is like barbecue and chili. They didn't specify a range. They just said it would show everyone that has less or equal hooks, which means technically as Trapper, you can hook somebody and see some guy 5 feet behind you behind a rock that you didn't notice. So there's no like range minimum there. Would distortion make you immune to that? I don't know. Because if it's straight oral reading, you could also prevent that by going in lockers. Which, to be fair, does actually give you a bit of slowdown. If people want to, like, leave their generator to walk to a locker, sit in the locker, wait there for a few seconds, then go back, that gives you, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. It does give you some slowdown, so it's still not a negative, you know? If regression's disabled, would Pop Goes the Weasel still work? No. Interested in the elusive effect and the potential perks it could create? I mean, what... I guess. I don't think it's going to be, like, dedicated solely to a perk, because that's too many effects. That's like combining 3 separate perks. What's a TLDR? Slug changes, not a huge deal except 1 line. Anti-tunnel changes, potentially massive. Myers is now a dash killer. Clown, mostly reverted. Unknown, slightly buffed. Dracula, slightly nerfed. That's about it. Sadako gets an early kill with Condemned. She can no longer kick gens. See, I don't know. Not technically. They would get the gen repair speed bonus, but if they weren't the last person hooked. So not necessarily. Unless you never hook. Yeah, if you just go for pure condemns, you'll get this penalty, but you'll never encounter this. How often does Sadako getting kills that early? Nah, yeah, not very often at all. Here's the thing. If the game was in a different state, these changes wouldn't be that bad. I view it like hitting a nail down to nerf the top tier killers before Trapper and getting down underneath a nail. I kind of fundamentally disagree with your statement. I feel like if the game was in a different state and, like, you know, a more balanced state, these changes wouldn't be... Like, the fact that the game has stagnated with the same problems for most of its lifespan warrants a change as drastic as this, in my opinion. That's why I'm so excited about this. PV2 download started. Oh shit, buggers. Log in. The fuck? I launched it and it didn't... Ugh. Gotta restart Steam. At the very least, all this shakeup for base kit changes opens the door for adjusting more across the board. Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think this is a good foundation to really start addressing the issues of the game. There we go. If I start dropping... Actually, I'm going to limit my download speed so I don't drop frames. Alright, that should be fine. Beer. Streaks are going to be harder with the slugging change. Good. You know what? Maybe people should not be able to win 1,000 games in a row. God forbid. God forbid streaks in this game are actually, like, impressive. I'm not gonna shed a tear over that. When streakers are just giga tunneling, that's what I'm saying. They're tunneling in 5 gens kind of players. Like, I don't really care if they're having a worse time, to be honest. Nor should anybody. The game should not be balanced around 1,000 win streaks. I don't know. What's the CR of a Death Knight, Jorm? I dropped a frame? No, you fucking liar. I dropped 0 frames. It says 0. You can see it there, totally. DS is useless now? That's an interesting way to take the discussion, I guess. This does technically make the value of anti-tunnel perks a bit worse, right? Because if those perks are to disincentivize people to tunnel you, but the game is already disincentivizing that. Did I see Almo's comment? This will not be maintainable in terms of design. Does Almo even fucking work for the company anymore? I don't know a single good thing that guy did. His opinion is worthless. Just changes who has the easier win streaks. I mean, I guess. Wise behavior, even doing this, all the same people who complain about tunneling will still do it. I can respect that they're trying some crazy shit to make that not the case. I wouldn't go that far, Murgle. CR17. Oh. Fuck, I don't know, man. I'm not a DM. Levels 7. I don't fucking know, man. Don't ask me. Vecna Fly Slop excluded from the Nurse Dracula buff. Oh, you're talking about this shit? Need something to make solo queue less miserable, and this is just the path they took. Yeah. Which, like I said, I'm okay with the path they're on. There's just a couple of bumps that they need to address. DS is always a band-aid on a fundamental flaw of the game. Yeah, like, that's the thing. These issues should not be fixed by perks. That's been their philosophy for 8 years. Problem with the game, perk to fix it. Problem with the game, killer to fix it. Problem with the game, perk to fix it. That's not the correct way to do it. These need to be things that are just part of the game itself. And then you can have perks that help it even more. They're perks, not, you know, core mechanics. So I think moving away from fixing everything with perks is a commendable thing. What about base kit DS? Yeah, I don't know about that one. That's a little much. Maybe not so much that. What the hell do you want? The way some people talk, you'd think 4-man Survivor with Friends are every game, when according to Behavior Zone data, the 4-man Survivor with Friends were faction. Yeah, it's like 8 or 9% or something. That's old data by now, but yeah, it's definitely the minority of games. Is that a fridge behind me? What? This? No, that's a piece of a shelf that I have not thrown away for 2 years. But it's actually, like, convenient to put stuff there, so. Glad I'm optimistic about the way they're trying to change stuff. I really am. I am optimistic about this. I was getting complacent with boredom. Like, where they're just like, okay, well, the borrowed time now lasts 12 seconds instead of 11 seconds. Please log in for the next 2 years now. It's so different. I'm like, okay. Like, it's just... I want shit like this to shake everything up. Even if some of it's bad, I would prefer that over the monotony of the same thing happening over and over again. PTB should be next week, yeah. And plus, like I said, all these things, massive buffs to me. Huge fan. So. How come Spirit's not on the list? Is she not A+ tier? It's not necessarily about the tier, it's about their mobility. All these killers have insane mobility. Spirit's mobility is not that amazing. If you use your entire power to get across the map, you have no lethality for like 15 seconds, so that's rough. Crazy when Myers changes are a minor part of the patch and he almost got a new power. Yeah, this is a massive, massive patch. No other player would give himself up and hook him up and hook him. Other survivors go for. Jojo, what are you saying? Stop it. Nurse also has dog shit mobility, so when cute. Yeah, but I agree. But she's just Nurse. She's just so fucking good that yeah, her shit mobility doesn't even fucking matter at that point. I still think she's totally fine being there. I missed your if. I'm sorry, I can't read. Hope they remove tombstones. There. Tombstones are being gone, and they're being made base kit, kind of. Well, not really base kit. With Myers, you can now tombstone people if they're on death hook. Where was that line? Here you go. You can grab or kill or perform a regular Mori on survivors who would die the next time they're hooked. Why'd you make him nerf Dracula? I didn't even care about Dracula. I didn't do shit. Dracula was mostly fine. He's just a very good killer. Honestly, dude, the thing I thought was strong was the bat form, and they buffed bat forms. They didn't do anything, I said. Tombstone implies kill them before last hook. Yeah, like, you're not going to be able to do it earlier anymore. But yeah, Evil Incarnate now is just if you just play a regular game, you can Mori everyone on the ground. But you've got to be in Evil Incarnate mode, I assume? I don't know. This is the whole Evil Incarnate mode. No, this bubble is under here. Okay, the hardest achievement in the game right now is Outbreak Breakout and the new map Generator Escape one. Those are fucking impossible, especially with no map offerings anymore. Like, that's... shit is ridiculously hard to get. Yeah, this is definitely a part of Evil Incarnate. You're right. Yeah, that's... I mean, this is fine. I think that's okay. They're already on death hook. The whole problem with Tombstone is you could kill someone that just started the game if the team let him get stock, and that's just stupid. So, if someone's on death hook, then the game's kind of over for them anyway once they go down, most of the time anyway, so. Got RPD achievement without even trying because people brought map offerings for it all the time. I had to, like, I dedicated a week and 4-man Survive with Friends of everyone bringing the offering. It wasn't a week, it was a couple days, but... Tens at a stream to get the Fallen Refuge achievement. He did 10 hours to get 3 attempts. Yeah, that shit's rough. It's very rough. Good time for the locker grab Michael Mori. That'd be pretty sick. Is Myers power just a weirder Chucky lunge? It's kind of like a Chucky lunge pig ambush. Dude, Patrick, that's exactly what I said in my video. Myers are going to literally get someone on death hook and then face camp them. And then when the cell phone hook happens, they're just gonna just don't tombstone them instantly. Fuck your anti-tunnel mechanics, bitch. They basically just gave that option to everyone. So I think they need to have a caveat there because people will absolutely do that. It's gonna be kind of funny, but yeah. And then being unable to regress any gen, though? I mean, still, some people just do it for the love of the game. It's still gonna be funny as shit. Don't you lose collision now with the anti-tunnel? Who cares? You get unhooked and just instantly bury them. The collision doesn't matter. Just because you have no collision doesn't mean you can't hit them. Just wait it out. You don't have to wait it out. Just click M1 the second they get off the hook. Is it a hot take if you say you miss map offerings? No, it's not a hot take, but map offerings were just fucking annoying. They're just too one-sided both times. Whether the killer is a nurse that brings you to Midwich or a survivor brings you to Batum, they let you exert way too much power over the outcome of a match, so. Think the grab ignores borrowed time? I don't think. I know it does. It's just the grab that we currently have with Tombstone piece, or regular Tombstone. So it definitely does not care about borrowed time. So Tombstone 1 and ignoring... No, it's going to ignore endurance. You don't like losing collision on unhookers? Lose a lot of skill expression? I disagree. You're just saying so the person can body block or something like that. I get it because you're now a sweaty comp nerd, but I think for 99% of people, having people aggressively body block with it is super frustrating for those players. And I think it's more important to cater to them than, you know, the comp players. Fuck it, make it a custom option. Unhook collision on or off. There you go, everyone's happy. Most people who body block after being unhooked should not be doing it and then they just die. I mean, trust me, as a killer, I love when that happens. When a survivor overcommits to an aggressive body block and then they just kill them and they're like, oh shit, it's funny. Yes, please quarantine comp players into their own area. Correct. What perks will killers run every time now? I don't know. Oh, there you go. No one's upset. Like a survivor on death hook body blocks for healthy hook states, and the survivor's like, well, okay, wasn't going to tunnel you. But yeah, I have absolutely tunneled people that I wasn't planning to because the survivor aggressively body blocks. And that's that good guilt-free tunneling where you don't even feel bad about it. You're like, well, you deserve this. Fuck you. It's nice. You know, for Myers, you're running Brutal Enduring, Vectum Vault, and Bamboozle. So basically the same Myers build that people run anyway. I mean, it'll be fun for sure. Organic, yeah, that's some organic free-range grass-fed tunneling right there. we actually do, Nick. It's ridiculous. Now you can't tunnel the idiots that bother you? Sure you can. It'll just be harder. You can still do it. Never seen a person complain about tunneling when using base kit BT aggressively, but everyone claims it's super common. Yeah, usually people, they know what they're doing. I don't really see people complain about that either. So surprised PTB's next week. Yeah, me too. I thought because of 2v8 they were going to delay it. What am I playing on PoE 2? I don't know. I think I'm actually going to follow a guide for the first time in like forever since I don't really have that much PoE 2 knowledge. Nothing stops you from throwing the game to tunnel. Yeah, if someone's annoying you, then the new win condition becomes killing that guy. Am I playing? I think I'm just going to do like Lightning Arrow Deadeye or something. Something simple that I know works. Sure, best, yeah. We're going to have new killer and new survivor also in the PTB. I don't actually know. Are we? Deadeye Cringe? Yeah, no. I just want a good starter character so I can actually do shit. I really want to try a warrior and start with that because the new abilities look cool, but I know it's a fucking trap, so I just don't want to do that. Yeah, it's a huge patch, Lindsay. They are, okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Overall, though, any other, like, points of discussion with the actual patch? I think we really covered most of it. Is PT... No, PTB's not out till next week. If I have a final summary, slugging changes are pretty inconsequential except this line, which I don't think should be added. Tunneling changes are... I have no idea how to even quantify what effect this is going to have on the game. It's too much. The disincentivizations need to disable when there's like 1 or 2 gens remaining. And then that fixes almost all of these issues. And everything else is mostly fine. Myers is lazy, but fine. Let's say a survivor's giving up. Are you being punished for letting them go next and removing them now? Not really, because you'll still have a dead survivor, which is better than the downsides that you'll get from it. Again, unless there's like 1 gen left, in which case, yeah, now it's dicey and that's kind of stupid. Does heal meta gel with these changes? Doesn't really change very much. Healing after you are unhooked is a bit easier now since you'll have more time to do it before the killer knows. Yeah, if they go next to 5 gens, it doesn't matter if you can't regress gens for the rest of the match, you still win. Wondering if the survivor dies from trying to go next, if that gives teammates the buff. It should. The killer is still going to benefit, even if they didn't do it intentionally. He's still going to benefit from having a survivor dead that early, which means they still probably win. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, Patrick. Like, gen regression builds, the value of them is going down, and full chase builds value is going up, which I'm kind of okay with. I think 4 regression builds are kind of boring. Even if they're not, like, the strongest thing you can bring, they're just boring. So, I'm kind of okay with that. Whole thing is so stupid. I don't think it's stupid. I think it's crazy. I think it's chaotic. There's a lot of shit happening, but I don't think it's stupid. I like the direction that they're trying to go. We just need to make sure they actually land on the landing pad instead of, you know, dying. Nothing more boring being chased by someone running 4 chase perks. I think it depends on the chase perks. Ones that have no counterplay. Like, yeah, if you're getting, like, you know, play with your fooded, or like by a ghost face or something, that's fucking boring. It depends on the killer. I guess you're right, it's not a black and white sentence there. It depends on the perks and depends on the killer. End Fury? Yeah, at least End Fury's a one-time thing, you know? Pain res is 4 times, therefore it's 4 times as bad. Math. That's how that works. Are there any actual fun chase perks, though? I swear survivors always complain about every chase perk in the game. I mean, I was mostly talking from the killer perspective. Like, running 4 slowdowns as killer is boring. Because your chases are not great, but the game goes slower, so you just have longer chases that are not great, but... Like I'm saying, like, having chase perks on killer is more fun. Do you think that they're gonna fix something? Perhaps, Ferenci, perhaps. They might fix a thing. Since Myers is getting rework, are they also reworking Scratch Mirror add-on? Probably... I don't know. No, probably not. Scratch Mirror is just gonna be you're stuck in Stalker mode. They're just gonna change the wording of it. Yeah, they're just going to change the description to you're stuck in Stalker mode, and that's it. It's going to be the same function, basically. What's Blood Favor? Whenever it's a hex, whenever you hit somebody, all pallets in the area around you become blocked for 15 seconds? 15? I don't remember the time. They get blocked, though. It's pretty boring to go against. You do indeed not find enjoyable a ghoul running Bamboozle and Blood Favor. You would take regression. Yeah, it's fair. Like I said, it really depends on the killer and the perks that they're bringing. There's some chase perks and aura perks that are like not really annoying to go against, but on certain killers, certain combinations are miserable to go against, so yeah.
Yes, got excited for the changes. I might go back to playing Killer and Mars soon.
Nice, Matsui. Thank you for the 33 months. Oh, God. Here we go. Okay. Perfect. You can tell it's coming. No more Burger King Myers. No. Out of Shape is out of commission. Because Tombstone's going to be gone, almost definitely. You didn't put anything with the bot to say that at the end? No, it just occasionally has a seizure. It's not your fault. The greatest crime that the community put upon Myers is not calling it the out of shape. They just called it Burger King Myers. No inspiration, no creativity. Out of shape is the superior Fat Myers build name. I'll forever be disappointed in people for that. Watch you give Myers a fast food sign add-on that makes him... Stop it! False prophet. Slow and inefficient Myers, still better. Yeah, Scratch Mirror Myers has never been good. It's actually dog shit. And honestly, with the map offering changes, Scratch Mirror Myers is probably the weakest thing in the entire game. So yeah. You can run it if you want, but it's going to suck. More funny than good? Yeah, but even then, it's not funny on a map that's not like Larry's. Or you need to be like on a very claustrophobic indoor map, or it's not even funny, it's just sad. You're just watching a decrepit old man slowly meander across a field, just offering no threat to you. Yeah, when you're in baby MMR, it's different. But when you actually go against people that know how to play, it's just awful. No, it's not good on indoor maps. Literally, the counterplay to Scratch Mirror Myers is when you become injured, just sit at a pallet. And until another chase starts. There's nothing he can do to you. You're just invincible forever. And then someone heals you up and you just reset and then slowly finish the game. Like, you're in no danger. It only ever works if you try to do shit like that while you're injured, which you just should never do. It's a very boring counterplay, but it's so consistent that he's terrible. No Tombstone? No, Tombstone is kind of being made base kit by making it so you can Tombstone people that are on Death Hook, but they're going to remove the add-on. I mean, I don't have proof of that, but I can guarantee they're going to remove it. The jump scare value. It was XD the first 62,000 times. You can just run infinite Scratch Mirror Myers and win consistently. Well, how would you stay in baby MMR if you're winning infinite times? That don't make no sense. Will they rework Evil Incarnate achievement? There's no reason to. It's easier to get now. You can just Mori everybody without even having to bring a Mori or a Tombstone. Just get him to Death Hook and just grab him. Only thing you don't like about these changes is not being able to stalk in Pursuer mode. Well, just think of Pursuer mode, or, wait, is it called Pursuer mode? Yeah. I guess it really depends. It depends how quickly you can switch between these modes. How do the anti-tunnel changes look? Mostly okay, but there's a couple of things that are potentially a huge problem. So we'll see. I don't know yet. I don't think it's like apocalyptic as people are saying, but there could be some problems for sure. Stand, switch, dash, slop. Yeah, I don't know. Is this going to be something like where you just click a button? Like you just, like switching a guard on night, you just press a button and you're in a different mode? Or is there going to be like a bar to fill? Is there a cooldown? We don't have any information about this. Twins are officially dead after these changes? Sure, man. No, they're not even close to dead. They're still one of the best killers in the game. Yeah, I don't know. There's no information. Probably press control to switch stand. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, is there a timer for that? Do you slow down while doing that? Is there a cooldown? How long does it take to do it? Like, all these things are going to be really impactful in determining how good he is. Because if you can just swap back and forth real quick between Pursuer and Stalker with no delay, that's going to be great. He's going to feel pretty damn good. But if there's like a delay between doing that and you can't stalk quite immediately, then they get around a corner, it's going to feel like shit. So it's going to really come down to playing the PTB and seeing exactly how those changes feel, you know? Like, I like Myers. I think he's a fun killer, so I'm excited to play this, but it really depends on how it goes. I'm deleting DBD. Okay. Seems dramatic. Okay, you boy zombie, the only two things you have said in my chat, not to call you out, are the first message was, I think Ghoul is fine. And the second message was, I'm deleting DBD. I'm not saying that paints a little bit of a picture of you, man, but just open your mind a little bit. It's not going to be that bad, I promise. Like, I'm not even trying to make funny. Like, it'll be fine. It might be a little bit harder if you're just, like, giga-tunneling people. But Again, I will give you some caveats. As long as they address this shit, which does need to be addressed, and as long as they remove this line about the slugging, the ability to recover while crawling, then I think there's really nothing to worry about. If they keep these in, though, then you'll have some... I wouldn't say it's quit the game tier, but it could be a problem, yeah. I don't think we're talking enough about the new status effect. I think that's nice for UI purposes. The new status effect? Are you talking about the recently hooked thing? This thing? Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's cool. If that's what you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about elusive. I mean, the elusive is just it already exists in the game, so it's not really like a crazy new thing. It's just a nice way to simplify the title of what the effect is, you know? That's not really too crazy. Well, it's not just it's Lucky Break plus off the record. Yeah, but it's not just off the record either. It's a combination of both. What do you think about taking out the info of hook and unhook thing from the HUD? This is honestly my least favorite part about the entire patch. This I really don't like at all. If they buff Lucky Break, I will fucking lose it. I am so glad people don't understand how good that perk is. That's like my favorite thing that I just don't want to talk about. Because like, holy fuck, if people start using that perk, I'm going to lose my mind. This line I don't like at all. If they're changing the wording to elusive, that means they're buffing it by making it also give it OTR effects as well, minus the endurance, which... XDD. That means you wouldn't need to run Iron Will with it or anything, and that would... Ugh. No. Don't do that. For the love of fucking God, don't do that. Do not buff Lucky Break. No more back to hook Hanks. Yes, that will... See, that's the thing, though. I do want to talk about this. Because everyone's going like, oh my God, this is so good. Now, like, the Blight's not going to come back to the hook because I'll have a chance to run away now. It'll be easy. I won't have scratch marks. I can make some distance. It'll be great. But the thing is, people are going to know that. And what do you think they're going to do now? If they don't want to not have information on you, they're just going to sit on a hill and physically look at you and wait for the unhook to happen that way, and then just they're going to do the same thing. I really think this is going to incentivize people to just proxy camp more. Because now you need to physically see the person. So that's what I'm saying. I don't like this. Again, I understand the mindset behind it. They want to give the person that gets unhooked a little bit of time to get away. But it's going to result in people being incentivized to proxy camp more. And that's a huge problem, I think. I just behavior hate killers so much and insane how much they handhold survivors. I would definitely make the argument that they have nerfed survivor far more than they've nerfed killer over the course of the game. Not this patch, obviously. This is way more killer-sided. But over the course of the game, survivors have gotten more nerfs than killers. Without a doubt. You got to think more long-term than just like the past patch or two, you know? I wouldn't say killer's never been easier. That's not true either. That's too far in the other direction. Killer has definitely been easier before. Tunneling reduction is going to make more camping interesting thought from them. I think it's going to make more proxy camping, yes. Worried about the blocking regression part. Do you just ignore the death hook guy if you find him? If he was the last one hooked, it depends on the circumstances of the match. If you still got 3 gens left, who cares? Killing a guy is better. But yeah, if you got like 1 gen left, I don't know. That's why I'm saying I don't like that line. Yeah, maps have been getting weaker for survivors since 2016. Almost every single patch. Every once in a while, they'll just, you know, release something that's too strong, like a new map that's too strong. But almost every intentional change has made maps weaker for survivor. Like if you compare the average farm map to the average farm map from 6 years ago, it's like you can fit... Like, the amount of pallets, you can literally fit 3 of the new farm maps in an old map, and then it would be about the same amount of pallets. Maps have been significantly gutted. So, those are way more important than perk changes. Low-tier M1 killers already have it miserable against Survive with Friends and high MMR. Next up, it'll make it impossible for these killers to even get a draw. And yet, somehow, I think people will do it anyway. Will it be harder? Yeah, I think so. But to say the word impossible there is very silly. And I think you know that. That's just an exaggeration because it's an upsetting patch. And that's fair. But I think that's an emotional response. Trouble Turtle, thank you for the 15 months. Appreciate that. Thanks, man. This update scares you so bad. That's a good thing. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I am worried and intrigued as hell. But I think this patch is super salvageable. Like I said, this is the pre-patch. These are the patch notes to a PTB that we don't even get until next week, which won't release for another 3 weeks. And as long as they address like the very few things that are kind of abusable, like this shit, that needs to be changed. And then the recovering while moving, that needs to be changed. Other than that, I think every one of these changes is great. For the most part. Some things are not, they're kind of more gray than great, but those two things are really putting a hamper. Because if those go live, I will be concerned. It's not going to be good. I think people are overreacting this change. Of course, they react every time. That's why I'm trying to calm people down and say, we don't even have the patch on PTB yet. They could change shit before we even get PTB. Well, it's not base kit tenacity. That's not even the part I'm talking about. You don't get base kit tenacity. You get tenacity after like 30 seconds of being slugged, which is not the same thing. It's... Oh, well, I mean, I guess recover while crawling. Tenacity is the movement speed too. Never mind, I misspoke. You're half right. What do you mean, Patrick? You get base kit, no mither crawling? It's just the regular base speed, yeah. He's talking about the base kit crawling while recovering. Yeah, for some reason I only focused on the movement speed, which is why I immediately corrected myself, and then you freaked out like a little girl. Recovering while crawling is fine if they remove Unbreakable. Yeah. I think I agree. Well, I don't know, do I? No, I don't think that should be there at all. I don't think that should be there. You just shouldn't be able to recover while crawling with no perk. That's just not something survivors need. I think that's just an unnecessary change. Again, this change is excellent. This change is fine. Not a huge deal. Not going to matter most of the time. This is just unnecessary. It's just giving them something they don't need. It's a very important aspect of DBD when you get downed and you get slugged to choose to crawl somewhere or to choose to recover. I don't think you should be able to just turn your brain off and get both by default. So like I said, this is the only actual line I have a problem with. Because that's just... it's an unnecessary buff. Yeah, exactly, Decap. That's been like a really important part of decision making in DBD, and DBD is only fun because of the series of decisions you have to make during the match. Do I recover right here? Do I crawl away from the hook? Do I get to the pallet? Like, the having to make these decisions and having to make, you know, thousands of these decisions in a single game is what makes DBD fun and have a skill ceiling. And if you just remove that shit, it gets more and more samey and boring. Have you ever played Killer at max MMR against coordinated teams? What is max MMR? Do you mean like the soft cap? Because yes, I have done that probably 1,000 times. Want to test dying under a pallet with flip-flop, unbreakable boon, power struggle with the instant recovery on PTB? Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. That's going to be fucking stupid. Which is why I don't like this. I don't like that. I did, John, yeah. I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, that even in my video I said that shit's going to be abusable, and it doesn't need to be. They should definitely not add this line. These decisions are more predominant for Killer with this change, though. Now you got to ask yourself, do I slug this or not? Well, sometimes there's no option. Sometimes you are literally forced to slug. So I don't think that's a decision all the time. Like, if you down a guy under a pallet and you see another teammate 2 feet away, you have to slug that person. You don't have any other options. I guess you could try to, like, move towards where the survivor is and body block it from their side, but that's always risky. I think not having to hold a button to recover is fine. Yeah, that's okay. I think auto-recovering when you're not moving is fine. That's okay. I have no problem with that. There's no gameplay holding the button down, you know? But it should pause when you're moving. Just insta-pick, they never expect it. Sometimes that works, but it's very risky. This is a buffer. Altruistic teams that just swarm the killer since slugs can camp pallets with base kit unbreakable. Slugs can camp pallets with base kit unbreakable. Yeah, but that's only happening after 90 seconds of slugging, which means they're just not doing anything. At that point, who cares? If they want to go down intentionally for 90 seconds just to get a sweet pallet save, okay. That's fine. They'll just chase other people. Just let them do that then. That's so much lost time for them that it's never in their favor. Yeah, word it like that. 90 seconds of survivor on the ground. Somehow this is bad for the killer. Like, what? No. Again, this line, if you're talking about this line, yeah, I agree. We have an issue with this, but this is not going to matter. This is completely fine. Yeah, if you have a team just swarming a dude on a pallet for the 90 seconds, who gives a fuck? No one's doing... It's like people that just do head-on or boil-over plays all game or try Sabo plays. Yeah, it's going to take longer to win, but you're going to win because they're not doing anything. I don't know. I've never minded going against a bully squad like that ever because I win every single time. Again, it takes longer, and you might get embarrassed because you got stunned or something, but you still win. You still have the last laugh, so whatever. Are they going to address the survivor abandon condition now that everyone being on the ground isn't a lost condition if a slug hides? It's a good question. I don't know. It's not that 90 seconds on the ground's bad for the killer, it's that it's worse than it is now because they don't have to be helped and they can base get tenacity to a random corner or under a pallet or something. So important thing to remember is they don't get that movement speed for a long time, like half the way towards that 90 seconds, then they start actually going faster, or they start actually approaching tenacity speeds. So they're still not going to get that much further than before. But yeah, I mean, the ability to recover while doing that is a lot. But if they're doing it in 90 seconds... what's really the difference there? Because at that point, a teammate's probably just going to pick them up. People are usually not slugged for 90 seconds in a match, unless they're intentionally trying to slug everyone to death. That is such a long time to keep someone slugged. Like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I feel like this is never going to be relevant to any of my games ever. The only time I can think this might be a thing is if, like, I have two people left and I down one of them and then another guy leads me on a chase way longer than I thought they would. And then I down that guy. And then I can't find the first guy and I always feel bad. I'm like, I wish they could just leave. Or I wish they... I mean, I guess they can now, but they might be able to pick themselves back up after that. So, but I still win in that scenario. It doesn't change the fact that I win. 90 seconds is a full generator, decap. People are more panicking about the anti-tunnel. Yeah, from what I've seen, the consensus is most people are not freaking out about the slug thing. This one's a little concerning, but people are freaking out about the tunnel thing. Because, yeah, unless they add a line that disables this feature when there's 1 or 2 gens remaining, this is it puts the killer in a very awkward position. You won't be able to find a slug if you leave them for over 60 seconds. I agree. If they have 60 seconds of crawling, yes, it's going to be very hard to find that person. At the same time, they're still on the ground not doing anything for a minute, and they still need someone else to pick them up, so who cares? You've still gotten so much pressure from that it's still good for the killer. That line isn't there on the website. I know, I added this. I added this to show how this could make the patch note completely fine. This line's not actually here. We just did that for fun. Would help if we had actual numbers in the patch notes. Yeah, not seeing the numbers behind these two things are very weird. What's the perk that reveals on the ground? Deer Stalker. Survivor being unable to do anything for the same amount of time as an entire gen is pretty good as an outcome for the killer. I feel like I'm going insane. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If someone is slugged for 90 seconds, even if they can pick themselves up after that 90 seconds, it is still 90 seconds of the survivor not doing anything while the killer is still pressuring other people. It's not just the 90 seconds, all the crawling buffs that'll make you take advantage of the unbreakable in way more scenarios. I mean, how far are you going to crawl? Eventually, you're going to hit a corner of the map. Like, when you're going to start looping with your, like, while you're a slug, like, you're going to hit a theoretical limit of how far you would realistically need to crawl. You're going to find a safe area in a corner that's not near anything. You don't need to keep going. You're going to hit an end of the map at some point. You give survivors the ability to stay on gens instead of picking up that make gens more efficient. I don't see a world ever in which leaving a guy on the ground intentionally for 90 seconds will ever be a better decision than having a teammate spend 30 seconds picking them up and then just they both go on separate gens. That will never be more time efficient ever. You will never want to sit there and just let them on the ground for 90 seconds. That's always going to be better for the killer than the survivor. Every single time. Basically, if you've gotten to the point where a survivor has been slugged that much, the killer has gotten so much pressure from it that the ability to pick themselves up at that point is not going to be that damaging. It'll still be good for the survivor, but you're in such a good position if someone has not been doing anything that long that it's really just throwing a bone to a losing scenario for the survivors than actually giving them a chance. If they're all doing gens, then don't you just pick up the slug? I'm not sure what you mean. There are scenarios where staying on a gen is better. When? When would staying on a gen be better? I mean, if it's like the last generator, I guess. But then, like I said, I feel like all of these mechanics, I guess I didn't make this clear, all of this shit should not work when there's like one gen left. No, actually, no. I don't even think I believe that. I think this is fine even with 0 gens left. Yeah, I think that only applies to tunneling. Never mind. You've been slugged to bleed out twice a day since the notes dropped. What's with people being determined to prove why they think these changes were unnecessary? I'm willing to bet most people haven't even read them yet. I think that might have just happened to you regardless. Someone said they don't have to go get the slug, but they can get up in 90 seconds. Right, but I'm saying it's still better to not wait the 90 seconds, get to him in 30 seconds, and you both go do 2 separate gens for 60 seconds. That's still better time-wise. And it's not like the killer's just going to be sitting on top of the slug. He's going to be chasing a second guy. Whereas if you look at it like this. The killer slugs that guy. He's then going to start chasing a second guy, which means at most 2 people are on gens. Or you can spend 30 seconds picking that guy up, and now you'll have 3 people on gens with the 30-second penalty, which is still better. Oh, you're agreeing. Sorry. Okay, my bad. Can I start from the beginning? No. No, I cannot. I'm sorry. Wait, shit. Are queue times up yet for PoE? Quick login check. Hold on. Should it be longer than 90? I think 90 is a pretty good value. 90 is a pretty fucking excessive amount of slugging, in my opinion. I can't think of a game in recent history where I had someone... The only times I have people slugged for 90 seconds are when I just lose them after I've already basically won the game and I'm just looking for the last slug on the ground or something like that. Then I'm like, yeah, okay, their bar's getting pretty low. But it almost never happens in my games. Detective out of 8 GPU driver. Don't tell me to... Okay, it's still down for maintenance. If the killer has ruin and the slug is across the map, you bet your ass you're sticking to the gen. I think math-wise, it would still be more efficient. I guess it depends how far the survivor is. At that point, if you're playing on Asylum and the survivor is at the polar opposite diagonal of the map and the killer has rune and your gen has enough progress to finish, then sure. It would probably be better for all 3 of you to sit on the gen at that point. In that exact specific hypothetical scenario, then fine. Why would the guy crawling not crawl to you, though? Because then he risks interacting with the killer. You can do that. But at that point, the unbreakable is not going to be relevant then. You're not going to crawl to a survivor for 90 seconds. You're going to get picked up before that by somebody. What's the value in slugging for the killer in that scenario? There is none. You would never do that. If it's your first down and you down someone guy in Africa and there's nothing else nearby, you wouldn't slug that person. That would be a terrible time to slug. So you're right. There would be no reason for the killer to do that. You would just hook them, exactly. Very good survivors already leave survivors on hooks, do generators and totems. In specific scenarios, but never for 90 seconds. Yes, leaving people on hooks and leaving people slugged to finish a gen or to complete a heal or to break a hex. Sure, these are good decisions to make. I completely agree. But not for 90 seconds. No one's leaving someone on the ground for no one's doing an entire generator when someone is just on the ground for 90 seconds. It's just not happening. Unless, I guess, the killer is basically just walking over the slug to BM them, then that, sure. But that doesn't... You just don't do that. It doesn't happen. I'm sorry. I can't say it doesn't happen. It very rarely happens. Don't doubt your solo queue teammates. I shouldn't speak in absolutes, because sure, exceptions happen in every scenario, of course. But that's not... That's just not a thing that's really going to happen. But they can. It's an option now. It's a shitty option. It's a bad option. If they want to take the worst option, then fine. Why would you stop them from doing that? That's gonna nerf Survivor. If they want to do the dumbest slugging possible, then... Or the dumbest decisions involving that, like, I think that's a self-correcting issue. Was it less than 90 seconds where they did base kit unbreakable? Yeah. And to be fair, it was stupid then because it was you can unbreakable yourself, like, for free. That's why everyone thought that shit was stupid. But being on the ground for 90 seconds is a perfectly fine requirement to being able to pick yourself back up. Does the slug move speed buff make a deer stalker relevant? I don't think so. Not really, no. Moving while recovering still your main issue? Completely agree. That I think needs to change. That should be reverted. But I think this is the least important part of the anti-slugging thing. Hope the getting up is hard locked in 90 seconds can't be sped up. No, they're not going to make it like if you run exponential and unbreakable or something like that, it's going to modify that value. It's going to be a flat 90 seconds no matter what. It's going to be just your bar being at that point. People always find a way around this. Maybe, but they're trying something and I respect it. I think that's the main takeaway. They're trying some crazy shit. Some of it might work, some of it might not, but they're trying something to actually fix core issues with the game, which I have to respect. Again, will it end up being good? I don't know. Possibly not, but I respect that they're trying to do it. Michael is not A tier now. I mean, he might be like high B tier now, actually. If I turn this discussion into a YouTube video, this is too long. This has been 3 hours of discussion. That's way too long. Also, I already made a video talking about this. I'll probably make a more refined summary of this or something tomorrow. But I'm not going to upload all this. It's way too long. Think of the ad revenue. No, I can't. How do you think Pyramid Head's Cage's Victone will interact with the anti-tunnel? He's going to be negatively affected by it if he gets a kill earlier. Yeah. If they keep moving while recovering, add base kit Deerstalker. What if, after a survivor has been slugged for 60 seconds, you actually can see their aura in range? That way, killers that want to keep them slugged can still do so, but killers that don't want to do that can pick them up. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways to fix this. I don't think it needs to be fixed, honestly. I think it's completely fine. At this point, I'm just trying to throw a bone to people that are not agreeing with it. Survivors have 14 perks base kit now, insane handholding. And so do killers, man. That you can apply that shit every time to the other side. I think putting base kit things that are perks that should be part of the game into a base feature is a good thing, not a bad thing. Able to change Deerstalker? Maybe. I don't know. Going from Survivor A to B is the strat. Yeah, like that half-tunneling thing. That's always been very strong. Lets you circumvent all these second chance perks. That's always been probably the smartest thing to do. If survivors do gens too quickly, they also get a penalty? What do you mean? Did I miss something? Or are you like offering a hypothetical? Oh, are you saying like how it works in 2v8? If you tunnel someone out as killer, I get penalized. Oh, okay, I see the argument you're making. So you're basically saying if the killer rushes the objective, they get penalized, but if the survivor rushes the objective, they don't get penalized. I think that comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of what the objective of killer is. The win condition is killing all of the survivors. It's not, your objective is not tunneling the first person out. Your only objective as survivor is doing a generator. That's the only thing you're there to do. Your only purpose as killer is not to kill one person and tunnel them out. It's to kill everybody. So I think you're just conflating two different goals and trying to like make them be the same thing. That's most often the effective play. Sure, in given the right scenario with a weak link, if you can tunnel someone out quickly, that is usually the correct play. But again, you're saying one goal is equal to the other when it just you're comparing an asymmetric thing. I don't know how to entertain that hypothetical. Are you going to win 12 chases with a mid-tier? Absolutely not. I would not even encourage you to even try doing that. You don't have to 12 hook people. You just need to not directly tunnel the last person. That's it. And by the time you get to, the 8 or 9 hook range and you start killing people, you're likely approaching the win condition at that point. But like I said, when you get to this scenario where there's like 1 or 2 gens left and the game penalizes you for killing someone finally, I think that's stupid, and I think that does need to change. So I can agree to some extent, because this is stupid. I mean, that's fair. We are definitely allowed to disagree. I think that this is a good step, but like I said, like seriously, how would you feel if all of these bonuses existed for killer and they added a caveat to the downside to where it doesn't work when there's like only 1 or 2 gens left? Would that not be the best version of this patch then? So killer gets massive benefits for spreading hooks. There's really not any bad incentive to kill someone as the game is nearing its end. You can tunnel whoever you want then because you're starting to run out of time. This is just to stop people from tunneling people out at like 4 or 5 gens. In that scenario, I think there shouldn't really be any complaints about that. Because no one wants people to be getting tunneled out at 4 or 5 gens, but also no one wants to be punished for tunneling when there's only 1 or 2 left. Queues up on PoE2. Fuck, thank you. Why did I close the game? I'm an idiot. I added that last line. That line is not actually there. It's a line I wish was there. Stop rendering the shaders. Fuck. Oh, 1300. No one plays this game. Easy. I completely agree with everything you said because I don't want to form my own opinion. Thanks, follower. But yeah, I think there is a version of this that can be great. It's just not this yet. In an effort to help beginners, you're going to make top-tier Survive with Friends unbeatable. I don't think it's going to matter if they make these changes. If they push this patch exactly as it is to live, I agree. It will make it disproportionately hard against that. I completely agree. My point is, I don't think they're going to push this exactly how it is to live. I think they're going to add some caveats like this. I really believe they will. So like I said, I think this has a lot of really good potential. And as long as they don't just slap this exact patch onto live, I think we're going to be in good shape here. Again, if they do that though, then I'll high-five you and I will bitch at the game with you. We didn't think Conviction or Last Stand will make it to live either. Look, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's far more likely than not that they'll address very obvious flaws in the system like this. But sure, it's not impossible. Yeah, this line is not real. I'm saying if you add this line, it fixes almost all the problems. Doesn't fix my English, though. These features disable... Oh, no, it is. That's right. Never mind. The anti-tunneling should permanently disable once you hook everyone once. Yeah, sure. I'm fine with that, too. Fuck it. I think that's okay. I don't know. Is it, though? Because, like, if you hook everybody once, then you hook the second guy, and you can just hook the second guy again. You can still tunnel them out, but it's less severe tunneling, so I think that would be fine, yeah. Even if the system's bad, it's very tweakable. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Didn't see they get disabled with 2 or less gens. No, they don't. This is a fake line. I added this with inspect element. I'm saying they should add this line. This is not actually part of the patch, and they should add it. Too many doomers? I agree. I think people are being too doomer here. This is going to be on YouTube. I don't think I want to upload a 3-hour unedited discussion. Do people actually want that? Why? You're currently watching it. Why do you want to watch it again on YouTube? I'd watch it. Why? You're currently watching it. People watch VODs? Yes. Okay, how about I will make the actual summary. I'll record a summary and edit that, and then I can just slap this on at the end in case people want to watch it. I'm not going to just upload this. I feel like that's lazier than even my usual laziness. But I'll do an edited summary before that, and then I'll slap it on. You missed 3 hours of discussion? You did, yeah. Buddy of mine just convinced you to... Where'd it go? Get the game like a week ago in a stream you watched, told me you to learn the game a bit. Oh, well, that's very nice of them. Unfortunately, I'm not actually playing right now, but we're talking about a lot of crazy changes that are happening, so a lot of the existing strats might be different very soon, so it might not matter. Yapping stream? Yeah, this has been a wonderful yapping stream. I don't even want to play DBD right now anyway, so this is actually perfect. Excited to see what changes they make to perks affected? Yeah, me too. Next week is going to be crazy. I feel like this next week is going to be very boring for DBD. Now that I know this crazy shit's happening, we can't do it yet. Yeah, Patrick. Enjoy this kind of yapping? Yeah, for some reason, people prefer hearing me yap than actually watching me play the game. Which is both endearing and sad. Hi, Emma. Big L for behavior. Every killer main's reaction to this patch has been negative. What a weird sentence. Big L for behavior. Everyone that's biased to one side is upset about this. Good. Like that, maybe don't be biased to one side. What the fuck? These people should probably try playing Survivor sometimes. I don't know. I think anybody that ever gives a take on this game that doesn't play both sides, you just ignore them. Because they have no idea what they're talking about. Either purely killer-sided or purely survivor-sided. Their opinion is worthless. Like I said, I don't think this is a straight W or anything like that. There's a lot of scary things in here that they need to fix. But if they do, it will be a massive W in my opinion. It's very close to being a huge W. It needs like 2 line changes. Well, how do you think my MMR is low? False. If I win 95% of my games, how do I have low MMR? Not entirely right, but it's got the right idea. Yeah, exactly. Does this update not show they can do per killer bounds? Yeah, that is an incredibly important line, where they actually specifically name these top tier killers. I love this. It acknowledges the fact that they need to balance differently for certain killers. Like, that's a very important thing. Shit like Awakened Awareness getting nerfed because Nurse exists. Like, that's just stupid as fuck. So I'm glad that they're doing this. This is probably the first of many changes like that. Why is Spirit not in there? I don't think Spirit's in the top 5, to be honest. She's close, for sure. But I think she's too reliant on cooldown add-ons. Honestly, she's probably like 6. She's probably like right there. You don't think the Dark Lord is? I think Dracula is. You could probably switch him out with twins. People freaking out for no reason when it's just a PTB. Yeah, I mean, this happens every time. This is nothing new. Why you're entertaining this guy who isn't following the channel? I don't think people have to be fans of me to have a discussion with them. I think that's unfair. Larry's probably stronger. It's debatable. He's baiting me. I don't think he is. I think he believes what he's saying. Comes across looking as an argument for me. Yeah, but I love arguing, so that's great for me. That's like my whole thing. I love yapping. I'm honest, I just have bad opinions. Holy based. Going to an S tier killer for to thirst. A win is going to backfire whoever tries. I don't know what that means. I'm stupid. I already uploaded a video on the patch itself today. But tonight and tomorrow I'm going to like really summarize all the discussions we're having here because I think we covered a lot of really good shit, and I'm going to go over how we can fix the patch to be like really good. And then I'll just slap this whole VOD on to the end of it. But I rate the latest Dexter episode? 9. Kind of saw it coming, so it wasn't like a 10, but it was good. News Myers is lazy, but is it a W? I'd say it's a W. It's a very small W, though. The way I see it, weak killer got buffed equals good. The way they did it is lazy as fuck, but still fine. Make sure to include all the questions about PoE 2. I will even highlight them with specific sections. Feel like the ending's gonna suck? It's Dexter, of course it will. To be fair, it's not the series ending, it's the season finale, so it actually is probably gonna be decent, but the series finale will suck. How can he get out of the scenario without being a Mary Sue? What do you mean without being a Mary Sue? Dexter is always a Mary Sue. He's been a Mary Sue for 10 seasons. He gets out of shit by pure luck literally 80% of the time. Just how the show works. Whole point of Myers is you run away while he walks and still catches up to you. My behavior doesn't even understand the killer's lore. What happened to the other conversation we were having? All right. But no, I can agree with that. I think that Myers changes are not thematic at all. Like I said, they're very lazy. Yeah, Dexter's got some crazy plot armor. Man, survives being shot in the heart. Did I see the trailer for episode 10? No, I've heard episode 10 got leaked, so I'm too scared to look up shit about Dexter right now. Okay, we're just veering off into not DBD shit. This will not be good for the VOD. I'm just gonna cut this out, I guess. Are the games later PoE games? Yeah, I'm playing PoE. I think we basically covered everything though. Myers can insta-kill a survivor off Death Hook base kit, yes. Okay, final summary. Slugging changes are mostly inconsequential, except this line. I don't think they should be able to recover while crawling. That's too scary. Give survivors too much added pressure for no real reason. I'm not streaming PoE, fuck that. That's my me time game. Tunneling reduction changes. I'm worried about this for me personally. These are massive buffs for me, which is great. These need to be very specific to having like generators left in the match. Otherwise, I think this is not fair. Yeah, overall, the patch has a lot of potential. They just need to refine a couple of things to be not abusable, which they currently are in these patch notes. So I think once they fix that stuff, I think we're looking at possibly one of the best patches they've ever done. But it needs a couple of very crucial changes in order to be considered good. So thoughts on reading some YouTube comments in your video and giving your take. People seem quite doomer. Like I said, I'm more optimistic than most about these changes because they're really addressing fundamental things. But they need to fix some things to be not abusable, because currently with these patch notes, they're very abusable. So if they fix some things, I think we're in great shape. If they don't fix these things, well, we'll have that conversation next month when it actually releases. So if a team plays the same survivor with the same outfit, how is the killer going to know which one they hooked? Because there's an indicator in the UI. When you're chasing that person, you'll see the chase tentacles going, and you'll see the symbol above them. If you're saying they're all running together in a flock, who fucking cares? They're just a meme group that's not doing anything. Is PTB new killer? Apparently, yeah. So, all right, I think I'm gonna call it here, guys. I think we've discussed in loops enough about all this stuff. Overall, I think it's gonna be fine as long as they make a few changes. So, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna chill for the rest of the day. Gotta make some edits to the video, and then I'm probably just gonna no life PoE for the rest of the day. So, thanks for watching. Love you guys. See you next time. Have a good one.